with me. Brothers, what we doing live?
They are behaving very badly, as they have for 47 years. It's right for the world. They have to be stopped.
They certainly do. How is it going out there, my fellow world patriots? It is indeed Monday, July 13th, 2026, as my trusty phone here is telling me. And if my math is right, we're bringing you episode 217 on this fine Monday evening. But Mr. Maxer started us off with that nice little video talking about 47, and it's been 47 years apparently since we've been really in the thick of it, I guess we could say, with these people after they had their country overtaken, don't forget, by us with the CIA in 52 or something like that. So we kind of did this stuff. But anyways, before we get too crazy down that road, Mr. Maxer, how's it going on this fine Monday? Hope the weekend was good. See any good UFC fights that were thrown, possibly?
It's going great. Always great to be here every Monday. And, thanks to everybody that tunes in. Thanks to the mods. And looking forward to the show. I did watch the UFC fight. The Conor McGregor one was suspicious. And I actually had that experience on my first UFC fight at Mandalay Bay. There was the main event. The guy got punched and it cut his eyelid. And they had to stop the fight right then and there. And so it was a similar situation. Everyone was mad. Oh, my God, going out. I was like, oh, that was a pretty cool event because I was there from the beginning to the end. Saw all the fights. I think maybe some people in the beginning didn't realize that the pre-fights are actually really good. And it's not just about the main event. And, everyone was really mad, especially the people who bet on it,
Well, dude, that, like you said, though, the whole event before that was I think it tied a record for the most finishes. And like I told everybody, not many fights are going to be on the ground that day. They pretty much kept it up. And I think there was 11 finishes. But then, totally great event. Had that fight been a good one at the end, it would have been probably the best event in the last couple of years. But it dudded out. And then he did that weird kick, which Some people are saying possibly he was injured before, and some people are saying, like, no, like, there's no way you would even attempt that. But kind of to your point, if he was injured before and he was looking for a quick way out, you could say, all right, I kind of hurt this knee. I'm going to pull this stupid thing in the beginning and make it look like, even worse. But,
Yeah.
I mean, he's filthy rich.
I will say this: I think he's in financial troubles.
Oh, really?
It has been rumored. If you were going to get paid for a fight, and your knee was pretty messed up prior, I know he was kicking. It's one of those injuries maybe where it was maybe bothering him, and then that kick just really extended the limit of it and made it worse. I mean, he kept trying to fight, acting like he wasn't hurt. So that's suspicious. You know what I mean? Like, we got to look at it, common sense. If you're hurt and you like blew out your leg and you're still trying to fight and act like nothing's hurting, something's going on. Like, does this guy owe money? Like, what's going on here? Sure seems like it. You know what I mean? So I'll leave it there. I like Conor McGregor. He's entertaining. Little weird, but yeah.
Definitely. Let me see. I wanted to show you because this is really and no, guys, we're not going to do a whole UFC thing. I just want to get this off the edge in the beginning. But so the weird thing about this is he hadn't fought in 5 years, right? The last time he fought, he broke his left leg. Now he broke or messed up his right knee. Now when he fought Max 15 years ago, he also blew out his knee, right? So a lot of times when these guys are like, one guy's on top and he's trying to get towards the upper side of Max's body, who's on the ground, to try to throw some punches or elbows. Well, they wrap each other's legs up, right? And so Max had his legs clamped down pretty good in that fight 15 years ago, and he went to pass, and I guess it blew out his knee. But while it happened, he said this in interviews afterwards, he goes, yeah, we're sitting there fighting, and I hear Conor go, oh, ow. He's like a grimace, like he was in pain. And so I said to him, like, yo, you good? And he goes, yeah, just keep fighting. So he even said it about this one. He goes, yeah, he's a psychopath. I was like, dude, your knee's blown out. Like, cut the fight. And he's like, keep fighting. He goes, he's a psychopath. So, but yeah,
they're going to spin it however they want to make it entertaining. So, but I wouldn't be surprised he's under investigation if this is involving, gambling and stuff. So
true.
Interesting.
Well, speaking of investigations, you brought this one to us.
Well, I would like to come back to the Mujahideen.
So let's go back to them then.
Video at some point here. Let
me see if I can. So
if you pay attention to the end, I mean, I would recommend anybody just go back and rewatch it. But at the end, it tells you in the 80s it reached a couple $100 million, I think. This slush fund. Well, Jimmy Carter was the one that approved it for the CIA. And it's the template for multiple other slush funds to come after.
USA.
So, yeah, it would be one. Yeah. I mean, I think, Q's mentioned a bunch of different ones before, Red Cross being, all these different entities and stuff like that. But this is one big slush fund that has been occurring, and this is what has created the Iran situation, is Operation Cyclone. And come to find out, there is a Jimmy Carter connection that is crazy. If I can find it here.
Is it the other video that's in here?
If you want to put that, if that's a YouTube video, I put it kind of right on the mark. They talk about Jimmy Carter, and it's very interesting. Because
one, right?
No, I was trying to look for it. It wasn't a recorded one. It was like a link, I thought.
Yeah, I don't have that one at this time. But yeah, the whole thing with the Mujahideen, that was Mika Brzezinski, her father, Zbigniew Brzezinski, back in the early 80s there. They helped fund the Mujahideen to fight the Russians and whatnot. And so it's like they kept doing this stuff. And it's been one big pattern of this, us being, air quotes, the policemen of the world, right? But essentially, as we go, they're starting to expose all of this fraud right here. So let me see if I can pull this one up here for us. Make sure.
So he formed the National Security Council, and that had to do with the Trilateral Commission.
Oh yeah.
So Yeah, he has created a lot of black money, and I would be led to believe that he was rather communist, but
Oh God, yeah.
we'll call him extreme socialist.
All right, let's see. Let me know when to stop.
But him and Bush had a little special relationship too. I don't have the details on that.
Sorry about that.
When you find out real quick, I just want to, before this video, when you find out who's running the was it the National Security Council in the beginning, it's Mika Brzezinski's father.
Oh, oh God, yeah.
So yeah, so here comes the bloodline stuff, and how far, you know, we had these handoffs within these intelligence agencies and so forth, and how it actually, like, a lot of this stuff birthed out of thin air. So I'll let you play this. It's interesting.
And credit here for Katie Halper show, and just really quickly, as you had mentioned before the show, pretty cool of the dude Heavy Pulp there that made that very cool America video. You know, a couple of us got some copyright violations, and one person in our chat had actually reached out to the person, I guess, for another incident. But he was like, "Yeah, dude, if you ever have a problem, just hit me up with the link of the video, and I'll whitelist it." So very cool. That at least that's how it should be. You know what I mean? It's like shouldn't be.
Yeah, we'll get into Heavy Pulp in a little bit.
All right.
Murhadi says, please ask Ben about Brzezinski's prediction for a Chinese, Russian, and Iranian alliance. So could you set that up? Also, obviously, who Brzezinski is?
Yeah,
because he's more than just Mika's from Morning Joe's father.
Oh yeah,
exactly. So Zbigniew Brzezinski was one of the most important U.S. imperial strategists. I mean, people say, foreign policy makers, an imperial strategist. He clearly understands that the U.S. is an empire. Former national security advisor for Jimmy Carter. He was an architect of the proxy war in Afghanistan in the 1980s, so-called Afghan trap. Of course, I mentioned earlier the Mujahideen. That was his brainchild. In 1997, he wrote this book called The Grand Chessboard. And he says very clearly in the book that the goal of this book is to maintain U.S. hegemony around the world, to maintain the U.S. status as the lone superpower on the planet. So that would be this concept of unipolarity. In the 1990s, the U.S. empire was completely unipolar. Russia, the Soviet Union was overthrown. Russia was like being devastated by these neoliberal policies. Boris Yeltsin was like this alcoholic U.S. puppet who like barely could be functioning. China was doing this policy that Deng Xiaoping famously said of lie low and bide time, trying not to anger the U.S., trying to just develop its economy and not ruffle any feathers. So the U.S. was the only superpower. And he wrote this book in 97, basically laying out to U.S. imperial policymakers how they can maintain U.S. unipolarity, what countries they should ally with, where like the center of power is in Eurasia. It's the term he used a lot, Eurasia. Because if you look at a map, Europe and Asia are combined, right? It's all Eurasia. So in this part of his book, which is chapter 2, I mean, if you're into like geopolitics, it's a really interesting book if you're like as nerdy as me. But anyway, so in this book here, he writes, before the first Cold War, which was a bipolar kind of world, right? That he notes that international affairs were largely dominated by contests among individual states for regional domination, right? And this is kind of what we're going to back to seeing. The U.S. wants to be the superpower in the Middle East, that's West Asia, in East Asia, in the Pacific region, in Latin America, in Europe, in Africa. It wants to dominate all these areas. So he says that the United States may have to determine how to cope with regional coalitions that seek to push America out of Eurasia, thereby threatening America's status as a global power. So one of those examples now would be the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. This is an economic and political and security organization bringing together Russia, China, India, Pakistan, Iran just became a member, and the Central Asian republics. So this is a massive, this represents 40% of the global population. This is a massive alliance. So that would be something that would be challenging this kind of U.S. unipolarity that he's talking about. It's one of those regional organizations. So he warns about certain kinds of regional blocks that the U.S. should try to prevent. And he says the most dangerous scenario.
All right. Is there anything else we need to get into this at the end of this, Mac?
Or no, he's basically an undercover communist. And this guy Ben Norton is obviously one of them, and he's praising what we did in Mujahideen and stuff like that. And then once you dig into it, you realize how evil it was. And this is one of the makers of all of the wars that we've had since then. Go ahead.
Really excellent comment in chat from this guy, Space Shot 76. She's got a serious case of resting bitch face. Oh my god! And I looked her up too. I was like, is she Republican or a Democrat? Like, what is she? Oh, no. She's neither. Identifying instead as an independent, progressive, and democratic socialist. Oh, great. Yeah.
There you go. Communist.
But the points are definitely valid, and what he was talking about was certainly valid and germane to what we're talking about.
It's just how they like to spin it towards, a positive thing. and there you can see them using propaganda to try to push their further agendas using this format. And that would be like stealing taxpayer money through fake programs. Jimmy Carter is also known for starting FEMA. So that's one thing that was in their agenda was that Trump got ahead of, was using FEMA that Obama wanted to do. And therefore, and probably Hillary was supposed to be the one thereafter to implement it, but use FEMA against the citizens of the United States. And that was, thank God, that was changed by Trump. And then he also started the Department of Education. Well, that's a Rockefeller project there.
Oh, damn. And what else started under Mr. Jimmy Carter? This is fun little thing we like to call the Senior Executive Service. Was established under President Jimmy Carter, the Civil Service Reform Act of '78. Under his administration. And so what they told us back then was, we need some smart people in government, but, we don't pay enough. So we need to be able to get some of these executives in here. But the thing I didn't like is that these people, I think, would start at, I don't know if it's GS 15 or GS 16. I know it's at least 15, right? And so they come in and they get whatever they want for pay. But interesting points here, Mac, too, on the on his post, this guy's post from 2022. He warned.
Grand chessboard.
Yeah, Brzezinski warned, and again, the chessboard, right? 5D chess. But Brzezinski warned the most dangerous scenario for U.S. empire would be a grand coalition of China, Russia, and perhaps Iran. And so, what happened when we went over there and started throwing some kabooms at them? Well, China was like, they're our friends, but we don't really want to get involved. And Russia's like, we got a lot of Russian Jewish people living in Israel, so we're not going to get involved either. So his scenario, I think President Trump flipped it on its head. I'm
exactly.
glad that he did.
And these little tidbits are showing what he is actually combating. This has been set up so long ago. I mean, another entity from Jimmy Carter, the Carter Center. The Carters are not a fan of Trump, if you look it up.
Oh, yeah.
And the Carter Center, ironically, is in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, we'll get into hopefully Fulton County soon. And what about the Jimmy Carter Center? They're a part of Habitat for Humanity. And that is involved in the NFL, Major League Baseball, Hollywood. It's just crazy. And we're talking a lot of money. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Lowe's, Home Depot Foundation, Whirlpool Corporation. Whirlpool, remember Trump speaking in front of the Whirlpool? So that was him, I think, communicating that he's attacking these entities. State Farm. They all adopted the DEI stuff, the woke stuff. And so this is what they're using as well as in their warfare, is this corporate warfare as well. So
this is a very short one. This is only 25 seconds, but you had dropped this one, I think, pretty close to the start of the show here, but let's listen to a little bit here. Getting interesting. Oh, God, Mike. All right, I'm just going to unmute.
20 election and potentially so of the 2020 election and potentially sow doubt in the upcoming midterms. A new White House task force is expected to begin releasing documents on alleged and so far absolutely baseless evidence of election irregularities in the coming weeks. That is according to two officials with knowledge of the matter. An acting director of national intelligence, Bill Pulte, will be a part of it. I'm going to guess front of the 2020 election.
Did you hear what she had to throw in? Reviewing thousands of pages of documents, law enforcement of irregularities in U.S. elections expected to begin in 2 weeks. But she had to add in, oh, there's nothing in there. Like, yeah, we got no basis for any of this stuff. Oh, really? That's funny. Oh, dude, it's going to be so
there
juicy.
was rumors going around about this, and then that came out on MS Now. So, you know, they're making it a grandiose thing. There was another rumor I ran into, but I don't know if it's Iran. Could be the I hope it's elections. That'd be great.
What's that, the speech on Thursday? That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and there was another rumor that maybe like there's some illegitimate people that were elected. So then that would hint at, the election fraud. And it's out of, and then there was, I think FBI people were fired because they questioned the probe into the Fulton County elections. So there's 200 agents right now in Fulton County investigating election fraud in 2020. So we're hoping, fingers crossed, praying Jesus.
Well, I mean, in my opinion, and I clicked the link and I had it on there for folks for yesterday, but the idea that you would send 200 agents down there, right, and for there to be nothing involved, I don't think so. I think this is one I had for yesterday. Again, Georgia election scrutiny intensifies. FBI agent surge, subpoena setback audit findings, blah, 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 on the record. So, dude, that looked like almost a little heavier Peter Strzok right there. But, of course, it's not him. But over 200 agents working on Fulton County elections case. The judge rejects the Justice Department's attempts. Remember, they wanted the names of the election workers. And it's like, they want to block that stuff? Why not? If there's nothing done illegally, it's all on the up and up, right? You guys claim there was no problems. Then why won't you tell us the name of the election workers, right? I mean, some of them got medals, right? Georgia audit finds, and this is funny, hand-marked ballot errors, machine-marked ballots show 100% accuracy, guys. So we need the machines, right? We got to have the machines. They're more accurate. They totally won't connect to the internet, I promise. So they start talking about other things here. Candidate disqualified in Metro Congressional for special election. Judge tosses DAs challenging Georgia's prosecutor oversight commission. And Mac, it's coming down to the point where I had it up in here on the screen a little bit ago. DHS 3 days ago requires states to adopt common sense election security measures before receiving federal funds. And boy, I wonder how that's going to work in, say, California when they're already pretty much hurting, right? Like big time. It says that Homeland Security through FEMA is taking decisive action to safeguard the integrity of the American elections. Threats to election systems are constantly evolving. This week, FEMA published the funding opportunity for the Homeland Security Grant Program, making over $1 billion of taxpayer funds available to state, tribal, nation, territorial, and local governments. Before receiving award funds, states and other recipients must take critical common sense steps to protect U.S. elections. To strengthen election security, Homeland Security is requiring all grant recipients, so remember, states, to do what? First, states must submit a plan for transitioning away from unsecure electronic voting systems that use barcodes or QR codes to count votes instead of use equipment that accepts hand-marked paper ballots. This change helps create a necessary and reliable paper trail, making it easier to verify results and detect any irregularities. Second, after each election, states must conduct a manual audit of at least 5% of ballots cast. The common sense process involves physically reviewing a random selection of ballots to confirm that the machine-reported results match the results on the paper. This will ensure accuracy, blah, blah, blah. Third, states are required to reconcile the number of voters who participated in each federal election with the numbers of ballots cast. This step ensures the number of ballots cast matches the number of voters, a common sense step that will help jurisdictions identify discrepancies prior to certification. Fourth, within 120 days of accepting the grant award, states must use the reliable and free U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Systemic Alien Verification for Entitlements system, say that fast 5 times, to verify the citizenship status of everyone listed in the state voter registration database. This measure helps ensure that only eligible citizens are registered to vote. And finally, states must also use the SAVE system, or another authorized government system, to verify the citizenship of anyone working at polling places or operating election systems. This requirement applies to all individuals involved in the administration of elections, further protecting the process from potential vulnerabilities. So, we've talked about this stuff in the past before, and we require them to do this, to do that, but now you're not going to get funding to your state. And I'm wondering what they're going to do. Like certain states like California, I wouldn't doubt that they say, I'm not going to give you this stuff and I don't care about the funding. I don't know how they're going to, fund the rest of their state. It's not like they're doing a good job of doing it anyway right now. But this is common sense, approach. It should be followed, and if you don't get funding. So
does it say anything else besides that? Just no funding?
They're going to withhold 20% of the grants recipients award until they submit proof of compliance with those requirements. So yeah, they're basically just not getting, and I don't know what it means, like total funding, like nothing. You won't get a dime.
Well, it's a good way to combat this. There's a lot at stake,
especially with the GDP of California is better than most countries.
And then Trump fired that whole committee of election.
Let me get that one. Let me get that one up. No, it's in our wheelhouse.
And that has to do with the slaughter case. So that's why the slaughter case is so important. He's able to go around and fire these people. And
Bing. Here we go. Trump ousts remaining members of the Election Assistance Commission ahead of midterms. It says the dismissals hamstring a key bipartisan agency just months before the midterms. That's a good thing, right? And of course, they're reporting it as no bueno. Let me just check this. Yes, things are going to get very interesting. So the White House ousted all 3 sitting members of the U.S. Election Assistance Commission on Thursday, hamstringing blah, blah, blah. Okay. The Democratic commissioners, Thomas Hicks and Benjamin W. Hovland, were fired by email, 2 people familiar with the termination said. One sources also said Republican Commissioner Christy McCormick received a call and was asked to resign. And apparently she has. Quote, they'll be replaced, said a White House official who confirmed that all 3 commissioners are gone. Presidential appointments to the EAC are subject to Senate confirmation, by no means a quick process. White House aide Morgan DeWitt Snow sent the Democratic commissioners a brief email of termination around 4 p.m. Eastern. One of the people familiar with the dismissal said, quote, on behalf of President Donald J. Trump, you can pack your I'm writing to inform you that your position as commissioner of the Election Assistance Commission is terminated effectively immediately. Thank you for your service. The EAC is a bipartisan commission that helps state and local officials run elections, certifying election equipment, and working with other agencies to ensure state and local elections run smoothly. Oh, how good of a job have they been doing with that? From 2018 to 25, it distributed more than $1 billion in grants for election security. It says Hovland, one of the Democratic commissioners, told NBC News he was returning from a trip to Missouri election office when he was fired. The EAC has said he acted as a clearinghouse, sharing best practices between states and helping them use their limited resources to run election. Taking away key federal agency designed to help state and local election administrators will have a negative impact. Quote, when you're asking more and more of people without giving them necessary resources, mistakes happen. And so there's a real risk of self-fulfilling prophecies in that way, he said. It feels much more like a death of 1,000 cuts situation than there's one particular thing you're concerned about. It says the commission normally has 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats. It says one Republican, Don Palmer, resigned this year, leaving it with just 3 members, which again were 2 Democrats and 1 Republican. But dude, I'm just wondering, is this just one of these things that we don't even need to have? Do they really need to have this setup, right? And then they were responsible for pushing around $1 billion, right? And we say, We say
these
this
people
left and right.
probably should be in jail too. So this is the first part of that process, hopefully, of getting them behind bars, because
Mhm.
whatever you're about to say, I was about to agree on the money.
Yeah, I mean it's ridiculous.
Where is it going to? And it's going to Democrat, um, Democrat kind of leaning organizations.
Leaned on their
And-
head. Leaned on their head there. Let me see. I'm gonna try to keep up to these as we go here, so I don't miss topics. But thank you.
And that quote,
Okay.
that quote is unbelievably, like, what?
1,000 cuts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, Jesus.
When you're asking more and more people without giving them resources, when you're asking them what? Asking them to help do elections. So yeah, I mean, he was pushing around $1 billion, and we say this stuff like kind of almost willy nilly, right? Like, oh wait, they just found $25 billion in fraud over here, and they just found 100 million over here. I mean, the sheer amount of that money. That's why I know everybody knows what it means, but like to say it outright, like $1 billion, 999,999,999 plus one.
That
That's
can rig
just
some
one.
elections.
Yeah, that's just 1 billion, right? But we're getting like 25 billion over here and 50 over here. It's so much left and right that is just being exposed in from what I'm seeing, bro, it's record numbers like in the last couple of years, just coming out of our ears essentially.
I mean, there's
Crazy.
50 states. Each state got 20 million. You're at 100 million there. What, $1 billion there? 20 times. So,
Right? It's crazy. But let me see. I think we're going to have a little bit of fun here. We're getting into the I think, I always find this stuff the most fun, of course, because we're going to get into Mitch and all that stuff later. I was going to do the interesting things that both me and you had found. So one of them was this. Hey, dude, you know anybody who does any shows like this? Hold the line. Oh, you guys are watching it right now. Episode 217.
they always have cool pictures too for us. So thank you.
Yes,
And
we
movie
do.
clips.
We do appreciate it so very much. 1013. I don't know if let me see. Did I? Let me check my notes. I don't think I did. So maybe I don't know. Maybe it's nothing in there. Well, let's take a look. See. Ding ding. On this one. Yeah, North Korea, thoughts and prayers with Marines. All right, Twitter, clowns, blah, blah, blah. False drops, bots, bad mixed with good. So I didn't really find too much that would go with that one. So, okay. But we got more. That one. This one I just thought was
some
interesting.
for you.
Oh, yeah, we got a few of these ones. here.
No. What is 10 U.S.
Oh.
Code Subtitle A, Chapter 13, Part 1, Insurrection?
Oh, shit, is it?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that would be 1013, part 1, right? Oh, my goodness. That's crazy. And this was cool, dude. Moving at warp speed to make America great again. 1:07 p.m. That was cute.
Military.
Yeah, so that's what, 13:07? Did I end up looking at that one? I don't think I did on this
We've got
one.
Fight was one.
Oh, yeah, that's coming. Coming soon to a theater near you. Here's where we're getting some really fun stuff, I think. Yeah, never back down, never give up, never, ever surrender. Fight, win, never surrender. So I thought that was interesting. And then when we go to the fight, 1230, or excuse me, 12, or it would be 238 plus 1200 would be 1438. Let me see. So does this one, and for my money, this one definitely links up. Here we go. New Q, blah, blah, blah. Air Force One picks from same set. So we're talking about the Air Force One and that weirdness, dude. And we're going to discuss this in a second here. But identify, reconfigure, V9 or 11-9 sequence. Attacks anticipated, coordinated. Why are they continuing? Internal attacks will intensify all sides. So I don't know that it means anything other than it piqued my interest with the Air Force One stuff, right? And we know what they've been saying, like, oh, maybe Russia killed Lindsey Graham, maybe Iran killed Lindsey Graham, and this, that, and the other. But for me, dude, this started last week with this weird post, and I don't know if I'm a little slow in the head or whatever, but the way President Trump wrote out that post, the new, old, new, old, new, old. I'm like, wait, what the hell is going on? Do you know which one I'm talking about?
No.
All right, let me pull it up for you guys. So the one where he posted, I think it was the day before he was going to the to his trips. He was out there saying like, "Oh, hey, we're gonna go," and I didn't have planned to pull this one up here, so I'm gonna pull it up for
I
you.
mean,
guys
the
right
pictures of like the monument and the pool is like new and then old.
now. No, I got you right here. Right here. Bing and bing. Okay. So for me, and you guys in the chat, guys and girls, please do let me know if I'm just a Momo and I'm reading this incorrectly or weird. But here we go. Ding. So this is from, what date was this? I don't even get the date on it. So I marked them for what looked weird to me, and I'm going to read it. To honor our brave men and women of the military, we are sending the brand new, all right? So we're sending the brand new and truly spectacular Air Force One to Mindenhall Air Force Base in the United Kingdom. So the new one, all right, to give them a chance to tour the aircraft. Everybody's so excited, and it's a new one going to Mindenhall. Everyone give them a chance to tour the aircraft. Everybody's so excited, and we thought we should go. They should be the first. For old time's sake, we will be taking the former Air Force One from Turkey to Mindenhall. So now we have the brand new one going to Mindenhall, the former one going to Mindenhall. A short trip that is totally worth doing in order to give our great military heroes a chance to appreciate our beautiful new addition to the Air Force fleet. President DJT. So, I mean, I'm probably making more of it than it is, but
this also has to do with the New York Times leaking that bit of information.
Yes.
So,
did they try to kill him?
well, yeah, that because the rumors are Turkey has an assassination plot out. So, I think it's treasonous to do what they did. Why would you tell everyone what his flight plans are when it wasn't supposed to be public, and even they were specifically told not to? So we've got some foreign combatants possibly, and I hope the good guys are investigating them.
Yeah, it seemed like maybe some sort of a
They are military.
Yeah, like a sting up of some sort, maybe. It was weird. It was weird, and then they said, "Oh, they're basically saying like the timeline on Lindsay doesn't make sense," and we'll get into that stuff in a little bit. So let's finish wrapping up these fun ones here, and then we'll get more into that stuff, and we'll push around some theories, and I want to see what you guys think as well in the chat. Okay, so that was that one. That was this one. Okay, this one, and I thought this one for me, this one was the one for my money that was the most like perfect on the money. Good morning. Never stop fighting, Patriot. Patriots in control. One of my favorite ones that they put out here? I think it says Patriots have always been in control. And then when you go to the Delta on it or the timestamp on it, it was from 2018 where it says Patriots are now in control. So I thought it was just pretty cool how it says like now. Patriots have always been in control. When you go look at the post, it says, hey, Patriots are now in control. That was 2018. So very cool. 9:37. So again, we don't add the 1200 for military time because it's AM. And all right, does any of this make any sense for what we're dealing right here, guys? Glimpse. All right, you know what? Let me do this again here. So again, Patriots in control. Good morning. Never stop fighting. Patriots in control. 9:37 a.m. So no 1200 added. Over to post 9:37. Glimpse. You cannot possibly imagine the size of this. Trust the plan. Trust there are more good than bad. The world is helping. We are not alone. We are all connected in this fight. Patriots unite. We are winning big. Watch the speech. Oh, God bless. Wait, watch the speech? Well, isn't that what we just talked about a little while ago? President Trump is going to be making, here you go. I think you had shared this out with us as well. As noted, so here's a programming note for you wonderful world patriots out there. This should be Thursday, right? Yeah, President Trump will be making a speech to the nation on Thursday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Interesting he didn't write President DJT on this one, but whatever. So this is Table of Titans night, guys, and you guys all know we do Table of Titans at 9:30. So you know what's going to happen, Mac, right? We're going to set up the show to go live at 9 o'clock so we can catch President Trump's speech, and I'll bet bet you my bottom dollar he won't start his speech till 9:30. That would be my guess. But dude,
I think usually on these he's pretty prompt. It's if it's like a live event, and I think they keep him
Hopefully.
waiting. Sometimes he's got a meet and greet and so forth.
No,
But
it's a good point.
I think he may start it a little bit later just to make sure everybody tunes in. They'll watch the ratings maybe on TV. I don't know.
But what do you think about
But
that as far as like this linking up
if
perfectly?
if it's of importance, it's going to be prompt. That's what I would say.
Yep. And what do you make of this? And guys and gals in the chat, let me know. Patriots are in control, 9:37. Then we go to this one. It tells us, hey, guys cannot imagine the size of what we're dealing with here, right? So it's like, it's essentially telling us, like, there's no way you could have done this stuff in a year or two or whatever. This is a huge undertaking. And they keep giving us these, and whether you trust President Trump or not, which I do, that's the faith that I have in this. And not only is it President Trump, but we also have, obviously, other military departments out here, which this guy is the Undersecretary for War and Research and Engineering.
Right there was first post by Pete Hegseth. I put it in the chat so you can compare. So people made made different memes out of it, using probably AI.
Kind of like a Norman Rockwell. Oh, is that what it was? Oh, and didn't you have something you wanted to talk about on this a little bit, or?
There could be some comms in this is the fact that the pilots were Apache pilots. So that does apply to Q Post. There's Apache a couple times in there. And one of them, and I think it's pretty uniform, the reference has to do with secure drop.
Ooh.
And that gets into a whole rabbit hole of goodies. This should be interesting.
John Perry Barlow, right?
Yeah, it leads us to John Perry Barlow, which was mentioned in the Q drops. Now, I kind of steering away from the connection of that story. You can explain it real quick while I find the information, because I think it's worth the backdrop story. You might remember a little bit better than me.
And so we touched on it a little bit, not in this angle, but what Mac is bringing up is very important, because in the drops back then, they told us not only, heart attacks can be deadly, right? And so here's basically them proving to us, like, hey, heart attacks can be deadly, and then this guy died of a heart attack. But again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I know for sure that he's a goner, because as I've mentioned in the past, I could probably just pull this up quick. John Perry didn't come up this way. Okay.
And he was probably CIA, good guy CIA.
Yes.
Correct.
And dude, wasn't he like one of the band members for like the Grateful Dead or something like that? Yeah, right here. Lyricist for the Grateful Dead, a founding member.
That's a whole CIA operation for MK Ultra and the LSD.
No, they were organic, dude. They were all organic. And dude, isn't that funny? Like, you think about all this stuff, right? Like everything that we think of, like, oh, this was just this organic hippie movement that started in the 60s and peace, love, and happiness. And it's like, yeah, okay, tell me more about Laurel Hill Canyon. And then we'll talk about, how that's all organic, or we'll talk about how all the parents of these people are military, like Jimmy Morrison and what's his name there? Best guitarist, African American guitarist there, Jimi Hendrix, and what's his name from the Doors there, Morrison. Both their parents were high up military. But on my point, I talked about this the other day. This guy, John Perry Barlow, was also a friggin' mentor to Junior. Yes, John. So remember, obviously his father died, was killed, somewhat publicly, I would say. And then his uncle also, so he didn't have like a male role model. Well, Jackie Kennedy decides, you know what, I'm going to send Jackie Kennedy Onassis at the time in 77 or 78, says, I'm going to send John F. Kennedy Jr. to go hang out with John Perry Barlow at his ranch, and basically became a lifelong mentor. So the last thing I'll add about this one, Mac, is I don't know, if maybe he was a mentor to him, maybe they had a split, and maybe he is dead. Maybe he's not dead. Maybe they're hiding him, because he's one of these people that I look at that, he was into a lot of different things. Obviously, a very smart guy.
Yeah, he was into
you know?
cybersecurity big time. So I think he developed the Apache software that we're about to talk about here. Put in the chat some of the information.
Yep.
Um,
And this is what he was trying to do, right? The Internet Bill of Rights, I think, is something he was trying to start. Let me get that. I say he didn't write it. Rather, he authored the Declaration of Independence in Cyberspace in 1996. So it says cyberspace is naturally independent of government sovereignty and that physical world laws should not apply to the digital realm. And obviously that gets more into then spying.
In the end, Q had put the famous quote, "Heart attacks can be deadly," and that was right after I think talking about Barlow, and then a couple days later, Barlow was dead of a heart attack. So that's what kind of triggered a lot of people to start paying attention to what Q was saying.
Absolutely.
Now
you got three. You got 3 sets. You want me to start with the top one?
I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. Let's start. This will give us just like a brief overview. So yeah, we just want a brief overview. We don't need to get into huge detail here.
Sure.
It acts as a massive contingent for freedom of information, specifically because it governance model, the Apache way. It's designed to prevent any single entity, including corporations or governments, from controlling the software stack that powers the modern internet. Now, this is going to be applied to a modern day in AI. And I think this is what's kind of playing out in a lot of these lawsuits currently. I didn't want to go into a ton of detail on this because it's computer jargon and so forth. Maybe scroll through it and people can look at it. I'm going to see if I can find Space Force. It helps keep the Apache mission intact, not by controlling it, but by validating its legal model, relying on its software for national security, and contributing to its ecosystem under the strict community-led rules that define the Apache way. So, yeah, this is a big deal, and I wonder if that's being applied. The Apache comms of, the Department of War and Pete Hegseth and many other people led me to kind of look into this a little bit more, because the Apache HTTP server specifically remains a dominant web server, powering approximately 24 to 35% of all websites globally as of 2026. Wow. It's a pretty big deal. So this will, because it's open source, I'm sure this will lead the way for other ways of doing our AI and freedom of information on the internet. I think it's been hindered. Isn't that what happened when Obama privatized it? He sold off basically, what was it? I can't remember the name of it. ICANN, was it?
I can't.
ACAAN?
I think it was ICANN. Look at Did you ask anything Q related in your question?
I did.
Okay. I just thought I added it.
I say, what's the whole QAnon thing with John Barlow?
I gotcha.
And then once it gives you that, then it'll give you a list of stuff, and I'll be like, if it doesn't give me anything else, I'll be like, what else? What else did John Barlow do that's of worth? And it'll go into stuff, and then you kind of. I like using AI as a tool to kind of drill down to information, how they connect. It's pretty interesting, and it'll tell you, I just found out, right on the show that Conor McGregor's kind of might be allegedly in some financial troubles. And that would explain why he kind of got into the fight and tried to keep it going so that, it wouldn't look suspicious and he can get paid.
Yeah, he looked old too. Like, I remember texting a couple people.
I just thought it didn't look like him for some reason, but that was just me. His face, it looked weird.
I was like, dude, he looks super old. Apparently he's 37 now. And I think Hulk asked me, I'm like, I think maybe 32, 33.
That's still young to me.
yeah, for me too. But I mean, I think I said to somebody, I'm like, dude, he looks older than I do. And I'm like, and I'm almost 50. maybe not. I don't know. I feel like I look younger than that. But yeah, dude, this is some wild stuff. And again, is he dead? Is he not? I don't know. He could be one of these revolutionary types that they wanted to keep alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if he was a mentor to what's his name, then he would want somebody to hang out with as he's hiding from the world. And again, I'm not saying he's alive, but
Well, I
possible.
mean, he was in the CIA. He definitely did a lot of really intelligent things with the internet, from what I remember reading. I didn't focus on this in this little dig, but um, you know, it's interesting. Heart attacks can be deadly. Lindsey Graham, he died. He died of his, I don't know, ruptured aorta. Is what they're saying. It was still light out, so there's cameras all over that area. There has to be. And there's FBI that's at his property. Ivan Ranklin made a little suspicious comment
What
on
was it?
Twitter that night, like, is Lindsey Graham going to visit Mitch McConnell tonight or something like that?
Oh shit! Did he? Oh no.
Yeah, yeah. And he was Yeah, I don't know. It's just suspicious. I don't know if he's doing that for ratings or what, but I don't trust the guy. But
That's not good for sure.
yeah, and then he said, "Is Ted Cruz next?" So. Those are not safe words.
No, and apparently,
I hope they're looking into that.
yeah, apparently Ted Cruz is going to be taking over those committees here. But we got one more fun 17. I think one more. Only maybe there's more. I know we just got one more here, but I never actually even covered this. I think Hulk maybe pulled it up on Table of Titans. But hey, how many towers are installed? 17 airports across America have switched from old paper strips to electronic flight strips. Air traffic controls have been using paper for too long. We're going digital, and this is just the beginning. So
he
17?
posted something the other day. Again, he's been posting some Q stuff. 0 day, I think he posted.
0 day, zero. Oh, okay. 0 day, 0 hour.
0 day has to do with the decode I did, but a Q post having to do with cyber attack, election day +1, and we got 11.4. I did a decode on it. I don't know if you remember it. I'm trying to find where he put the 0 day. 1 second. Gosh.
No problem. And I'm just pulling this one up
here
for
we
anybody.
go.
Oh, cool. Dude, did you drop it or?
Yeah, it's in the
All right.
chat.
And so yeah, this is I'm gonna be a broken record in a second, but somebody who hasn't heard my broken record part of this will find it very cool here. In a minute here. Okay, so Secretary Sean Duffy says, "Watch, it's 0 day at USMMAO Federal Service Academy College, Merchant Marine Mariners, Acta Non Verba. The world is our campus." Okay, it says, after saying their final goodbyes, these plebe candidates are immediately thrown into induction day. Regulation haircuts, physical evaluations, uniform issue, midshipman oath. This orientation will last how many days, Mac? Come on. I mean, they're just getting
17.
ridiculous. Just getting ridiculous at this point. During which the class of 2030 will take their first steps becoming U.S. Merchant Marine Academy midshipmen. Remember that movie? He does not do that part yet. Remember, what was that? Police Academy. Remember that movie? The guy comes in and sits down. He's like, "Yeah, go ahead, take it all off."
Oh yeah.
He buzzes his head. The next guy's like, "Yeah, it's gonna be a little off the side." He goes, "Wait, you could do that here?" He goes, "Yeah, this ain't the Marines, bro." But yeah, 17 with the Duff Master, huh? I'm loving it, dude. All over the place. All over the place. Let's see. So we got to this one. We got to the election officials ousted. We did our 200 FBI agents in Georgia. Now, this dude, I don't know how old this video is, but it's got to be in the last, it's got to be since the earthquake in Venezuela. You've seen this one, I'm sure, right? So it says the gig is up. The new president of Venezuela announced the City of London bankers have their gold. It says, what if every country announced the same thing? Bye-bye, City of London global bankers. So she's speaking in Espanol, but saying, come on. Venezuela asks U.S. to release its gold. It says, I have decided to send a letter, among others, to the King of England, asking for the gold being held at the Bank of England to be released. That gold belongs to our people, and it must be used to address the terrible, tragic consequences of this double earthquake. Venezuela has the resources to recover and get back on its feet. So dude, Think they're going to get their gold back, or you think they've used it for other things, or they're just not going to give it back and make some excuse up?
Well, I think I've done something on this before, and what they ended up doing is borrowing gold. So they put a lien on the gold to get loans.
Right?
And I forget how I ran into that, but yeah, the gold's probably still there unless it was, sold somewhere else somehow. But if they're saying the King of England's got it, then they've got it, and they use that gold to kind of leverage money through like
Absolutely.
0 interest loans and so forth. So that kind of helps with the whole corruption wheel thing they got going on globally, especially in the United States, with stealing our taxpayer money. So just added element or dimension to it.
Ooh, okay, I'm gonna pull up your video here, and then we're gonna touch on this train wreck, which you'll see what I'm talking about.
Oh, bring up that decode in the bottom right just to show that. Go back down.
This one? No. I'm on
Go
this.
down.
I'm on this
That
one.
one.
Okay.
That one. So right there, that's, if you don't zoom in, but it's C19 narrative, kill date, election day +1. Well, this year, election day is 11/3, and 11/4 is the next day. And I did a whole decode on it. It's in that song. We've covered it before. And there's been a ton of zeros. So 0 day, he jumped on board with 0. There's been a couple others this week. And there just seems to be some sort of communication going on. I don't know what it is, but it's pretty interesting to follow. And I got out of it 0 day as being a relevant date to pay attention to and what may happen between now and then. But President Trump can, as we had covered, my main thing was, can he declare a national emergency? And he can.
Oh yeah, I think we're on one right now. I don't think there's been a time in either of his administrations when we're not in one.
And then, so now that we have control of the FBI again, and CISA, if you scroll down just a little bit, he can use that. He can also invoke the Insurrection Act, and then he can use the Presidential Alert System, which is the EBS.
Oh yes.
So I've got my eye on that. See what happens.
Fiber Day. Day serves as a follow-up or continuation of the election. Fiber Day, huh? I didn't know they called it.
Well,
that.
I didn't mean to. It was the sentence after that was more important. But
No,
yeah,
I
I didn't know about Fiber Day.
Gotta have fiber. It's good for your diet. Good for you in the diet. Okay, let me pull up this one here. You'll see what train wreck I'm talking about here exactly, and then we're gonna discuss what happened exactly to this guy here. All right, here we go. Listen to a little bit of this here.
He was loved and respected by many. I know Lindsay was loved and respected by many, and I greatly appreciate the memories and even the funny stories that have been shared. These shared experiences, along with our faith, have gotten us through these past 2 very difficult days. Next, I want to thank the governor for selecting me to serve the remainder of Lindsay's term. It is such an honor. Lindsay has always been there for me, and now I will be there for him. My brother was the most amazing person, outstanding leader, and just a genuinely good man. He was kind and considerate and loved by his family dearly. As I think everyone would agree, Lindsay worked harder than anyone. He worked nonstop to make our state, country, and world better. He loved his family and loved serving this state and our country. He dedicated his life to our country. It is such a privilege to get to finish some of his important work, and I promise to work hard over the next several months to support the president and carry forward the efforts of my brother on behalf of the citizens of South Carolina and the United States. I know Lindsay thought the world of his staff and colleagues, and with their support, I feel confident. I think this is what Lindsay would have wanted, and I plan to honor him in this way. Now, to Lindsay, I miss you more than I can even put into words. but I'm going to do this. I got it. Thank you.
That's pretty wild, dude, that they're putting his sister in there. Like, qualifications much, or like, I don't know.
I mean, we're trusting in Trump on this.
Like, I guess
we're trusting in Trump.
Trust the plan on this one. And you know, I think it's kind of funny too, because you got some folks out there that are like, oh no, I think, you know, Lindsey Graham just died, so I think we're gonna have some problems here. And I'm like, I don't know, we'll see. I don't think it's gonna be a major issue personally. And some people, you know, will think that it's not a problem, like myself.
I'm looking up her career. She's been in primary state government leadership and vocational rehabilitation rather than elected office.
Right.
But she served over 28 years in various South Carolina state agencies, focusing on assisting individuals with disabilities. So she understands how the government works and so forth. I think, you know, she's working with kids with disabilities. Good-hearted person, you know, and President Trump considered him a friend. I ran into this. July 11th has to do with, the CIA posted about it today, Culper Day, or Culper, what is it? The Culper
Firing?
Culper ring. If you look up the Culper ring.
Yes, the Culper aspiring, the George Washington.
And, you know, Lindsey Graham might have been a Culper spy kind of person, where he's, you know, President Trump called him a great politician. When he needed a favor, he'd go to the Democrats and work it out. So he could be a guy, you know, that, you know, was we were suspicious of, and he could have been one of those people that was like a kind of like a double agent or whatever. However that worked, how many triple, double, quadruple, however that works out. But you get what I'm saying.
I certainly do. All right, let me just catch up here for a second. I wanted to do this a little earlier, but we kind of went on to something else here. The Raconteurs report had rated us over here on Rumble, so I appreciate that. The Raconteurs report, and then over on, this was very close to the beginning of the show. Over on YouTube, William Joseph dropped a $5 super chat. Says, quote, he even put the quotations, "We are still here. Q from day one." Appreciate that, brother. And yeah, it wasn't easy in the beginning, that's for sure. But I'm telling you, there is absolutely just banana stuff going on out there behind the scenes, and these people are freaking out. They're even saying, I'll pull it up in a little bit. People that they're scrambling to possibly get back into, take his place. Remember the woman? Her name escapes me right now, but she's from South Carolina, and she was the ambassador, Nikki Haley. I guess I had to say the word ambassador for it to pop up into my head. But they're saying, the Adelsons are getting ready to try to get Nikki Haley in there. And I'm like, well, wait, I thought Adelsons were Trump's, you know, people, you know? Are they going to go against him? Because she's no fan of Trump and vice versa. So we'll see how it goes out, dude.
What's her name? Nancy Grace was trying to weasel her way in, I think, into Lindsey Graham's spot. And then I think Trump put an end to that real quick, which was good. You know?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
An
really
honest
quick
person in there, hopefully.
All right, no kidding. Dude, I'm loving it, and some people out there are just panicking, I guess. All right, so let's get to some fun here, or let's go into some wild. Let's go this way here. I'm just reading a post here. Lindsey Graham died in Kiev, not Washington D.C. He arrived in Kiev on the morning of the 10th of July. The trip to Kiev entails flying to Poland and then taking an 8 to 10 hour train ride. He was visiting a drone factory in Kiev that was hit by the Russians. He didn't have enough time to depart Ukraine on Saturday morning, take the train to Poland, and then catch a flight back to D.C. And this person says, Lindsey Graham was put down years ago and you're watching a movie. They were all put down. Enjoy the show. Dude, to our point of, remember, he was like the little puppy dog to We Don't Say His Name McStain, right? He was always over there with these guys, and you know who else was over there with them as well? Not as much, but Lil Marco. He was there as well. A couple of those visits with No Name McStain, Flimsy Graham, and Lil Marco. He visited them as well. So
Well,
Before I go too much further, your thoughts.
the Mujahideen video from the beginning of the episode,
Yes.
and then the Q posts, and we link up McCain, no name, to Lindsey Graham, and possibly there being a link. I'm saying there's a possibility. I don't know about the time frames here and so forth, but it was interesting. President Trump did his interview. Do you have that clip?
Which one? Where he's talking about
Talking about Lindsey.
When he talked about how he talked to him?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep, I do. Let me get that.
And it just, President Trump talked to him the hour right before, apparently. And, you know, all the videos are showing him very healthy. So either he was possibly murdered, or this person saying that he died in the Ukraine could also fit the narrative that he was murdered. So, one might wonder. I don't know. Yeah. So here we go.
Either way, we're not going to know.
And, you know, President Trump seems to be pretty shaken up by it, but just the details also matter. And I am paying attention to that because it did not seem like Lindsey was about to go.
Yeah, I mean, he even made that little speech out in Ukraine. You know, when I get home to Washington, what I'm going to do is this or whatever. Okay, let's take a listen.
He's really becoming strong was the Save America Act. He was really, and I think he was going to be there very, very strongly under filibuster. He was against terminating the filibuster, and I think he was doing that because he said we have a budget coming up and we have debt ceiling coming up, and the Democrats will, you know, they're deranged in many ways, and they're not going to be able to do it. So he was coming aboard, I think, for the filibuster, terminating the filibuster. But before we did that, he was a strong advocate for Save America. And that's what he called me about last time. I mean, I think of it. I spoke to him he had already landed. He was probably at his place. I don't know where he was, but I spoke to him. And then I got a call a few hours later saying, late in the evening, at 2 o'clock in the morning, actually. But they found out about it, I think, about 8 o'clock. About his problem, but so it had to be something very quick because he was fine. When other than being tired, he was fine. He was really becoming strong was the Save America.
That was weird, right? The way, let me see if I can get that. What did he say there? His problem?
They found out about it, I think, about 8 o'clock. About his problem, but
about his problem? You mean serious medical situation? Hey, you know, they found out about his problem. But then again, Mac, too, they could have, because they're saying, I think the timeline is saying around 8 o'clock he died, 10 o'clock, but then people were saying stuff about 2 in the morning or whatever. So they could have pushed that timeline back if they wanted to, right? To give that other story more time. So again, I think there's something weird about it as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's, but President Trump's on saying that he talked to him right before, but he's given these little hints. He was at his place, I think, and then he's like his problem. I just don't know. It's a shame that he was a personality. He wasn't very well liked, but I always remembered his Kavanaugh exchange about military and civilian law. And I think that's going to come into full. If we look at a Q post, there's someone that pointed out in my chat, if you look up Cav, there's an article about how civilians can, it's a 2583, civilians can serve in military tribunals.
Ooh, think Graham Cav
and I think
exchange.
It was Maggie is the person who sent it to me, so thank you.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with I thought we were rolling into Maggie Haberman. Okay. Civilians can serve on military tribunals. 2001, this goes back to. Pentagon lawyers designing historic military tribunals to try terrorists are poring over history books and legal tomes for guidance. While U.S. law permits the executive branch to design the commissions with few restrictions, even with little regard to precedent, the officials drafting the rules are reportedly keeping history in mind. America has a long tradition of using military tribunals to try foreign combatants and even terrorists, reaching far back as the American Revolution. Most recently, military commissioners were used extensively during and after World War II. Administration is carefully studying. That would be what? 2001. That was Bush, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nuremberg trials, the Nuremberg. Some experts say placing respected civilians on the Bush terror tribunal, such as retired U.S. generals or former secretaries of defense or attorneys general, would go a long way towards shoring up international support for such commissions. That's just interesting, dude, that they're doing this way back then. 2001, dude. So I'm keeping that link for sure. Because I do wonder, dude, like, how far this plan goes back. You know what I mean? Like
it goes back decades. Yeah. I mean, I'm taking it all the way back to like World War II. The trail's there, and I can't, past that, I haven't really. I've tried digging, but I mean, you could take it back to Revolutionary War because of the British. So it's
oh crap. This is awesome.
it gets wild because and I think it was Promethean Action suggested it's like 140 years ago is when Britain basically seized back the control of the United States through probably the Federal Reserve or Federal Income Act and stuff like that. Whatever act that was, but it's interesting looking this stuff up. So
yes. Oh, and thank you too. And I'm just checking a couple of different messages here. Both are very interesting. So thank you very much. Warrior Mima had sent me over 5 iced coffees, and yes, most times during the show, I only get an indication on my email. So thank you for sending me the heads up there. Warrior Mima sent 5 iced coffees over. Says, I don't like iced coffee, but for you, I'll buy it. Love you, Space Shot. Mike, keep up the great work. Thank you very much for that one, Warrior Mima. And I see somebody else is looking for help with unicity, which I will definitely address that right after I'm done with the show. And the other cool message is, dude, this is super cool. I don't have any sauce on it just now. But Hulkinator is usually very good with the information, so he's not going to make up stuff, okay? Talking about the speech President Trump's making on Thursday, post that Hulkinator just dropped for me and Tron says, President Trump's Thursday evening address will reportedly unveil newly declassified intelligence on a foreign nation's alleged plans to interfere in the 2020 election, joined by top intelligence and security officials. Oh, dude.
Yes.
What my response to that one was, right? Here, I'll just copy it and put it on the chat. I'll copy here and put it so everybody can see what my response to that one was. Let me see if everybody can see this. That's too high up. Let's do this. Here's my response. Oh, shit. My fellow Americans? Maybe? I'm waiting for it. I don't know if that's going to be a post speech or whatever, but my fellow Americans, over the course of the next several days, you will undoubtedly realize that we are taking back this great nation from the evil actors that will wish to do us harm. A kid can dream, right, Mac?
No, it's a good guess. You never know. I mean, we were told he was going to say it, so.
Yes, I cannot wait. But again, we'll see. And
People
I think to your point,
flip their what. It will confirm pretty legitimately that it's real. Like this whole thing's real. So to people that still are doubting, and there's not much. Once that light switch flipped by Trump when they asked that question, and he decides to answer it, hopefully the right way, and it'll set off a chain of events that'll be pretty entertaining.
oh God, yes. Wait, I'm trying to get this account because I wanted to touch one more. So I had one more thing I wanted to touch on. Oh, actually, we got a couple more things we're going to touch on with Lindsay for sure. This person was a colonel. Excuse me. Yeah, a colonel who was actually talking about Lindsay, and one of her posts basically was talking crap about him and said basically he was a bad dude. I'm just trying to find this frigate. I had it earlier too. Essentially, she was talking about how Lindsey Graham was essentially, horrible to this one commander, right? And so basically goes on and says, and the reason I know is because the commander was me. She was a retired U.S. Air Force colonel, and she's passionate about exposing Gladio.
John Rich never really liked him. I remember his story about Lindsey Graham when he was asked to have dinner with the president, and Lindsey just interrupted him, and John Rich was like, "Lindsey, shut up."
Really?
Or something along those lines. Yeah, it's pretty entertaining. Let's see if I can find it.
That's hilarious. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Bing, I got this. And this is just for, and I did it yesterday, Mac. I was telling folks about the good thing. And actually, I got to go here. So there was a good thing that he did, which, I don't know if that's above and beyond. His parents died. They were very elderly. And I think he was 18 or 21, and he adopted his sister. And so that way she could get, essentially Air Force accommodations or, assistance under him. But this person here, Colonel Towner Watkins, again, retired U.S. Air Force colonel exposing Operation Gladio and the International Syndicate, says, no, he was not a patriot. One of those pictures is him in the APR illegally because he extorted a 3-star general to publish orders so Graham could show up in uniform. Dude, this is crazy. He was not a patriot. One of these pictures is him at the APR illegally because he extorted a 3-star general to publish orders so Graham could show up in uniform instead of a senator. The commanding officer refused to publish those orders, so the 3-star had someone without any authority publish those orders. They were illegal, and Graham was told 3 different times it was illegal for him to travel on active duty orders as a sitting senator to the AOR as a PIRR member. He didn't give a shit about the pressure he put on the 3-star or the commander who refused to cave under the pressure. How do I know this? I was the commander, F. Lindsey Graham. He didn't give a ish about laws he voted to pass when it came to doing whatever the F he wanted to do, and what it cost someone to do the right thing. So, interesting. Somebody says, he was this, that, and the other. So, again, I don't know who he is, but apparently this person worked with him. Interesting. Mac, were you looking for something still?
Check. Yeah, it's in there.
Okay.
It's all queued up. This is John Rich having dinner with Trump and Lindsey Graham sitting at the table.
Here we go. Here we go. Come on.
At a dinner party.
He called me a conspiracy theorist in front of the President of the United States, yelling at me across the table, swishing his wine around his 3rd glass of Chardonnay. And Tommy, I tore his arm off and beat him in the head with it.
But the reason this clip is getting so much traction right now is that it perfectly captures exactly what so many voters are feeling today. In the interview...
I'll just pause it there. I gotta find the whole clip if I can, but that's the quickest one I could find.
He told him to shut up. That's cool. That's all good.
Yeah.
If you find it,
anybody else, yeah,
we'll get on to it
later.
But yeah, dude, this is, and again, I don't know. I'm just putting out all the different talking points, and I will definitely want Mac's input, and I also want your guys' input, your guys and gals out there. So just for future guys, when I say guys, sorry girls, I mean guys and girls, all right? So Larry Loomer here says, an Iranian regime account is now claiming Iran assassinated Senator Lindsey Graham. Oh, wait. So hold on. It was Russia? Now it's Iran. Okay. They just released one of their state-sponsored IRGC Lego propaganda videos showing it was supposed to be an Iranian hiding outside of Senator home last night and then breaking inside and triggering a cardiac arrest. The video ends with Senator dying inside an ambulance and a person checking the name Lindsey off a checklist. The checklist says, Laura is next. Of course she is, right? This is a direct reference to me last weekend. The IRGC publicly me and Lindsey Graham to be assassinated during Khamenei's funeral in Iran. FBI, I feel like my life is in danger for the IRGC following that. Yeah, but she's probably got Mossad security around her, my guess is. That would be my guess. Somebody's probably watching her for all the laundry she carries for them. That would be my guess. But, dude, what are you thinking? I mean, before I go too much further into this, Iran is claiming it. Now, Russia, they're not claiming it, but Iran came out, and, of course, they're going to claim it.
I don't even believe any of it, so I just let them come to a conclusion later, But for her to put out that information, without the video and all that stuff leads to speculation. Again, it could be fake, it could be real. I hate this type of news. People just post stuff and there has no reference. So hope she's safe. She safe.
I don't want to see any Americans, getting killed, but whatever. Yeah. So this again, the 48-hour death timeline. So we touched on it just before here. The timeline doesn't really add up that he could make it back to D.C., right? So did somebody kill him? Was it Russia? Was it Russia? Was it Iran? I certainly wouldn't think it would be anybody in Israel, would it be? I mean, he was.
It could have been
pro.
Ukraine. It could have been a lot of people. We'll just find out later. People are speculating. We don't have enough. Really, I mean, it does make sense that his travel plans did not add up to the amount of things he did. So, if that is true, then we have something to start off on and start asking questions. But they are investigating his murder, so it's not his death as a murder, I should say, because they have FBI all over his place.
Yeah, it's wild. It's definitely wild. So again, Graham meets Zelensky and tours a hidden drone manufacturing facility in Kiev. Hours later, the Russian MOD launches a devastating missile attack, completely obliterating that exact factory. Simultaneously, Russian precision missiles leveled a high-profile hotel in Kiev, packed with top NATO commanders. So, is there any other story out there about top NATO commanders being killed in an explosion?
That's
what I'm looking for.
Yeah, just hit right click and see if it'd search it.
Let's see.
Search NATO commanders.
Hold on, killed. I'm actually doing it on the other screen. It says no credible reports of high-ranking NATO commanders or generals being killed. Persistent rumors of NATO commanders being targeted or killed in Ukraine are part of reoccurring disinformation campaign. Unverified claims occasionally circulate online regarding the deaths of Western military officials during training incidents, but official bodies such as NATO leadership have confirmed no such high-level fatalities. So again, that part's BS. So that means, can we throw the rest of it away?
Yeah, I just move on. Don't even pay attention to it.
So again, is it Russia? Is it Iran? Who knows? We don't know here.
It could be the Ukraine. Like I said, he had some serious dealings in the Ukraine. He always was about getting money for the Ukraine. So they're not off the hook. If it was, we're naming names here. There are candidates on that in that country.
Yeah, I feel like something went on with that whole Air Force One as kind of he's touching on here. The post was weird, and then how they did the switcheroo, the last minute switcheroo or whatever. Says several possibilities, but Trump is engaged in a, quote, clandestine war. The full truth is hidden. Why? Art of war, deception, and misinformation are required in war. Here are some of the, quote, coincidences that make me question the official story. Trump flew to Turkey for a NATO meeting on his new Air Force One that had been retrofitted after being donated by Qatar. And actually, Mac, I just remembered something. He said, or President Trump said, he's going to give Turkey F-35s. Which Lindsey Graham was like, oh, yeah, I agree with that. I think we should, get that and vote that in. So that could be a negative for Israel, just putting out that point. And also, these guys, Qatar, are a major funder of a lot of our politicians, major. Lindsey Graham traveled with Trump to Turkey on the, quote, new Air Force One. After the NATO meeting, Secret Service convinced Trump there was a credible threat and the new Air Force One may be vulnerable. Trump then flew the old Air Force One to a U.S. military base in the UK and then took the new Air Force One back to America. It says, seems like a real threat, but only in the area of Turkey and Europe. Two things to consider. Israel notified Trump of a new threat from Iran while in Turkey. Was it a real threat or a false accusation by Israel to keep the war against Iran and Hezbollah going? Or was it just a cover story for something else entirely? Was Israel helping Trump by, quote, creating a cover story in order to distract a real threat and give him a false sense of security? Trump publicly claimed when questioned about the threat that he has given orders to destroy Iran completely if he is assassinated. The story carried the narrative, but what didn't get much attention was Trump said specifically about the threat itself. Quote, no, Israel came up with nothing. No, he tells the New York Post in a phone interview. I've been number one on Iran's kill list for a long time. And that's the way life is. Quote, the only thing, I've left instructions, if anything happens, to just literally bomb them at levels they've never seen before, Trump says. I hope you'll miss me. People focus on the retaliation part of Trump's response, but ignore the part that said Israel didn't offer evidence of a, quote, new threat. Remember, Israel is infested with corrupt deep state puppets like every other country, and the military-industrial complex in Israel is definitely upset that Trump is about to sell F-35s to Turkey because they were the only NATO country to assist us in our military operations against Iran. You would think that Israel would welcome Turkey's help, but instead they are now using the same, quote, forever war rhetoric against Turkey that they used against Iran. Is Trump exposing the deep state in Israel? Certainly a possibility. Who's a greater threat to Trump, a destroyed or degraded Iran or the military-industrial complex? He says in Israel. I would just say altogether military-industrial complex around the world. Certainly the deep state is now a greater threat to Trump than Iran, but there's another threat to Trump that is also greater than Iran in my opinion. And Turkey's proximity to the Ukraine war isn't a coincidence. Lindsey Graham didn't travel back to America with Trump. Instead, he went to Ukraine to meet Zelensky and tour Ukraine's secret drone manufacturing plants, even posing for holding one of the new drones. Then it says he died hours after returning from that visit to Ukraine. Coincidence. So, again, what we would need to do is have somebody, because he made a speech yesterday in Ukraine, right? We'd have to get the timestamp on that. When was that actually recorded live? And then do the math. Could he have even gotten back here in that timeline to Washington, D.C.? Which I don't think the answer is yes to. Speaking of phones.
Who wrote this, by the way?
Joe Lang. The account's Joe Lang.
Right.
Anybody remember when Q said this about Lindsey Graham's best friend, No Name McStain? We love phones. No Name should have known better. The phones Q is talking about were present at these meetings between McStain and ISIS. They allowed geolocation, audio capture, and pictures of McStain posing with ISIS members he was helping to fund and arm in Syria. Did Lindsey Graham make the same mistake? Right, and remember, these are some of the pictures that we've seen. There's McStain here, and then there's other pictures of him with Lindsey, and as I mentioned earlier, with Marco as well. So, dude, I don't know, man. And the other alternatives are out there too, Mac. Oh, is this Lindsey 1.0, 2.0, 3.0? You know, was he taken off the playing field back then? And then what also is the question nobody's really given me a good answer for.
I'm suspicious this is an AI picture because these AI pictures like having blurry backgrounds.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Raham. Oh, and actually, speaking of photo. Speaking of.
But, I mean, yeah, so if it couldn't, you know, there's an argument to be made if that's happened. Well, I think as more details come out, we'll find out. But this falls into like the Charlie Kirk assassination. There's missing details.
Oh, so many.
Yeah. So when people start speculating, it just, you know, I like to wait for a little bit more information so that I can start drilling down a little bit better than just saying, you know, pointing fingers. Yeah, the Israel industrial complex, you know, it's powerful. They're very good at spying. They don't really play by the rules. So, you know, Trump, I think, is fully aware of all that stuff. So,
hell yeah. And I got a nice little update, too, from Miss Debbie Roush, one of my wonderful mods. He says, Trump will be joined by Ratcliffe of the CIA, Kash Patel of the FBI, Pulte of the DNI, Mullen of the Homeland Security, and they will reportedly going to reveal, quote, a foreign nation's plan to interfere in the 2020 presidential election. Yes, I think this is going to be very interesting, dude.
Excellent.
Yes, Thursday. I cannot wait. Now, regarding you're talking about, you know, AI versus, you know, not AI. I gotta say, dude, I did look it up. Let me see. I got so many, dude. I have so many links for tonight's show. It's like hilarious. Let's see, Graham. I'm gonna get back into the Graham section here. All right, Graham timeline. images. Now, I've seen a couple of different ones, Mac, out here. I've seen posts where people are saying that the AI for Graham it's AI, and then I see other ones that say it was not. Let me see. Wristband, Trump Quayer, Sam Neill. Oh,
Yeah, like it's like the Mitch McConnell picture. You need more of the proof of light than just a picture with his finger on a newspaper nowadays. It's just ridiculous that that guy's still in office. He's constantly in the hospital. I think he's probably passed away, and they're holding off because of political reasons. They would have to have a special election up until a certain date, and I got to go look up the date here in a second so I can be right on that. But they're literally doing this for political reasons, I believe. Like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, like you said.
oh God.
That's what they're doing. They're waiting because they'd have a special election and it'd be close to the midterms. And I believe the governor appoints the person if it's before that date or something, or after that date.
Yes.
So 1 second.
No, you're good.
Do you know it? Then
I don't know the actual date, but I know it's coming up. But there is a period in which, if they have enough time, they can do the election. But if they don't, then the governor has to appoint. At least they used a good photo of me. All right, so here's this one. So I want to show this one quick.
the date is August 3rd.
Here we go. Ding, ding, ding.
Jeremy?
August 3rd for
August
the cutoff
3rd.
date. Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
I had it last week, but I just for some reason forgot. So here's his meeting or his speech the other day. Again, I don't know what time it was exactly.
I'm pleased to announce, as of about 30 minutes ago, we've reached agreement with the White House on a version of the Russian sanctions bill that they will support. It means it's going to become law. So when I get back to Washington, I'm going to go with Senator Blumenthal to the Republican and Democratic leader to see if we can find time to move this Russian sanctions package that would give tools to President Trump to help end this war. I'm pleased to announce, as of about 30 minutes ago.
And you see what I mean? The blurry background, you can't put them at a place. So
Exactly.
when they do that, it's a tendency of AI right now. AI can't fill in that monument sign in the background, so they just make it blurry, so you can't put him in a place, and they just say he's in the Ukraine. He could have been, I'll just say this. I am on the same page as everyone else that I think, a lot of people could have been taken out a long time ago. But we have to play it out however they want for the other people to understand what's going on. And it seems to be what's being presented to us as reality. Now, I can have a case here. This could be AI. So what is going on?
Well, different people are saying, but actually, yeah, they're going more about the photo than they are this. But I think you make more sense with this, right? Because you can look at anybody taking. I don't know if I have any videos up here, but
it could be a green screen. I don't. Who knows? We can't put him at that location. Someone just said he was in the Ukraine, and this is his speech. I don't believe it.
Yeah, no, I think that definitely looks a little weird. So let me do this because I think people may think I'm making stuff up or something like that. Oh, I might as well do this one. Jurassic Park dude died. I didn't think he was 78
Did you see the
already.
post with him? I sent it in there with you.
Yeah, you did.
It's in there with the video.
Sam Neill.
Was it a person put that in my chat on Twitter or X?
So yeah, Sam Neill was in the Cube drops and or a little clip from Jurassic Park was anyway. New eyes joining the fight, Q. Those with an agenda to silence will fail. Pain coming. Follow the pen, already written. Jim Jordan, letters left visible.
It was John S. Thank you. Who sent that?
Nice. Yes, thank you, John. And that is interesting.
But he was also in the Hunt for Red October.
Oh, he's been in a lot of movies. I didn't think he was 78 though. What am I looking for here? What was I looking for here? Oh, okay, here we go. I got you. Dude. All right, sorry. This is the one I was talking about too. So this one, and I know we're talking about Lindsey Graham here, but they're saying that this one looked real, right? But then right off the bat, dude, you got any problem with this picture besides, the fact that he's at a hospital wearing a button-up and jeans? You know what AI said?
What?
He said, well, at a recovery facility, they can pretty much wear whatever they want. I'm like, really? Yeah. Well, look at this. If you were to zoom into this, it looks like the Spanish version, and it kind of looks like the big ones are Spanish, but it's AI type. So when you zoom into it, it's gibberish, complete gibberish.
But
and
then look at the corner of the wall. Look up. It's an optical illusion.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
to the
look,
right.
It's sideways. Yeah, this one's sideways, and this one's straight up and down. Why is the wall crooked over here? And to your point,
it's meant to look like, I can't explain it. It's meant to look like a corner of a room, but it's, you can't really.
Shouldn't be that crooked, is what you're saying.
It's just a weird placement. I don't know. It just looks off. Yeah, it is crooked. The line is definitely crooked comparatively to the other corner.
to what it should be.
Yeah, they were saying his other finger was longer than it should have been. So they just throw it to Grok, and Grok usually breaks it down. I don't know.
I got this poster on my wall at my house, and I took a picture of it from like 10 feet away and tried to zoom in a little bit. And I'm like, why does this picture look clearer than Lindsay's picture? Like, it doesn't seem to make sense to me. Or Lindsay, or Graham here. Oh, geez. Mitch. Turtle. So essentially what's going on is, and see, in here, you'll have people in the chat going, no, look, I checked it out, and see? Can you tell me what paper this is? And the date it was published appears to show a baseball player or fan. Zoomed in section of the newspaper section comes from an AI generated image. It does not depict the real newspaper from any specific publication or date. Right? Is AI generated. Right? And I can go into my Zoom history right now.
The paper itself is from that date. But I think when you zoom in on the actual newspaper itself, it's AI generated. So they tried their best to do a proof of life, but it's AI.
Yeah, somebody did a really good zoom in of the picture. Yeah, here we go. This is the one. Andrew Fisher. Good job, dude. I mean, look what's wrong with his neck. Isn't that movie where people started getting the veins coming through their neck? But
I think the zoom in, they used AI to finish it.
Yeah, because it shouldn't be that clear, right?
Yeah.
Definitely shouldn't be that clear. Let me see really quick. I just want to do this because I don't remember if I did it on the computer or if I did it on the thing here. Okay. But Benny, all right, we got to get to Benny Johnson later.
You look at the helmet, the New York emblem is wrong. So I don't know if you go to the original real quick.
Well, it is right if you cut that part off and all this off.
Well, that's what. Yeah, go to the original and see if that's what it looks like. If you can.
Let me see. It's a mess. It's a mess. So yeah, I mean it's complete BS. But nowadays, dude, we can't even use. Yes, Camp Justice. Hell yeah. You can't use pictures as proof of anything nowadays, unfortunately.
And Trump keeps pushing the cognitive test. I think there's a reason why.
All right, let me go into my images here for shows and make sure we didn't miss anything here. I got your Conor McGregor thing. Did you want to? I want to finish up this really quick here. Let me just make sure I got nothing left on Mr. Flimsy Graham. But yeah, I never got back to the chat to see what they got to say there. What are you crazy kids out there getting into? The chessboard is getting emptied. Rick C says, that's interesting. Same photo that was released in 2023 in rehab after his fall and concussion. C Shaft 0812 says, is it? Ooh, so let's see. Mitch and 2023 after hospital. Mac, I was thinking literally last night, and I may even have texted somebody, but I was thinking, let me just pop this up here. Spread conspiracy theories about Mitch McConnell after photo release. Oh, is that us? Yeah, I think that's us. Let me see here. Here we go.
That's why I always say give it like the 48-hour rule, see what comes out. But they're investigating. And Mitch McConnell needs proof of life outside of a photograph, bottom line.
100%. And what I was thinking too is pretty much what that person had commented. Maybe they faked it and took an old picture. Like, how many times this guy passed out and frozen in the last couple of years, you know?
Yeah, and was it Scott Jennings went on and did a cover for him, said, I spoke to him for 17 minutes on the phone. We talked about some BS stuff. So it sounds like they're being removed from the chess board. You know, Trump did the same thing with Lindsay. It's very interesting. Now, you had posted a thing about warp speed.
Oh,
wanted to get a little nerdy for you.
Well, remember it was a post, right? It was one of the what do you call it? I forget
who posted. We posted it on X, but it was the White House. Who was
warp speed? Oh God, hold on 1 second, dude.
Department of Transportation, was it?
I was trying to make this right here. Yeah, it was right here. Bing.
White House. So warp speed has to do with quantum.
Wait, Mac, hold that thought 1 second. I'm sorry, bro. I just have to. You have to. And I was trying to get this made, and Grok wouldn't work with me. Weekend at Bernie's, it just wouldn't do it. You know what it did? It took Elaine Chao on the bed, and it had an arm by itself, and it looked like it was trying to put the arm into McConnell's chest. I'm like, no, that's not what I'm looking for. But okay,
I've been messing around with that stuff. I don't know. It's tough.
You gotta be very literal.
Yeah. Did you use Grok Imagine or just regular? Were you making a video or just a picture?
Yeah, the video, and I got that deal on Grok, like it's super Grok for 2 months.
Oh, you're paying for it. So okay, got it. Makes sense. Now, warp speed has to do with quantum. Now we're gonna get a little into some UAP possibilities and how this is real. I put it in the chat there so you can pull it up.
Is it an image? I do have some UAP
they're images. There's a link to a document and I have a screenshot of that link. Now, warp speed is specifically the I can't even pronounce Alcubierre drive. And basically, quantum mechanics, it poses that it can be done, but you need a specific type of material. And it requires a negative energy density, which is exotic matter. And that would stabilize a warp bubble. And so there was a scientific paper written about that. And there's that screenshot down there. I just wanted to bring it up because we're getting into the quantum stuff. That scientists working on teleportation, the White House talking about warp speed. We'll probably get into, was it Heavy Pulp? Is that his name?
Oh yeah. That's the
and his symbolism in his videos of a Stargate or a portal. And I posted about that on X. I got like over 100,000 impressions on that. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, and we'll get to that part, but in quantum, this is possible, and this is how it's how theoretically these objects that we're seeing in the sky can defy gravity and our normal physics, and how it could also be us. It could be man-made, and there's a high possibility that most of it's man-made at this point, and some of it may be alien, but I'd say we've cracked the nut on this stuff because it's been around for so long, and they've been researching this stuff. I don't know for how long, but it's negative point energies in here. That's what we just hit criticality on our fourth reactor, and it's a different designed reactor and they're hitting 0 point energy. It means no energy needs to go into the system for it to produce energy.
What was that
So,
other term you just said? It was similar to 0 point?
criticality,
No, you said there was some other kind of point energy. I thought it was
0 point energy, and I don't know. But I said 0 point.
All right, maybe I misheard you. I thought there was something that was like close to 0 point, but not. And then you mentioned something else after that. But yeah, so 0 point means you're putting no energy in it and you're getting energy out, which is another word for free energy, right? Essentially, you won't have to,
I think so. I mean, yeah, loosely termed, but like 0 point energy just means you're not putting energy into the system and it's producing energy when you do that. Now, the thing we have to worry about is the duration of time that cell will produce energy. So that's I think they've gotten to the point where you're in 0 point energy. It's a lot of energy, and it's going to be available because they can keep accessing it. So you understand the lifespan of that energy may be a certain amount of time, but they can keep reproducing it. So then you get to continual energy, or it runs and it's a long duration of time. So I don't know.
well, like a magnet.
Yeah, it all falls under the Department of Energy. So I don't know how much of this is going to be classified and comparatively non-classified. So Trump's invested in cold fusion. I forget the company's name, but it's a thing of the future. I'm looking forward to this.
Oh, I can't wait. And that's going to change everything.
I mean, we could get the Jetson cars, the things in cartoons that they always say or the floating skateboard, like in Back to the Future.
All right, I'm just popping this up here quick, and I don't know, you can let me know the feasibility or not, but it says a YouTube channel with just under 700,000 followers showing this on their channel. Let's pop this one up. Ding. So to me, this looks like a alternator for a car alternator. Could be a generator, right? Yeah, build them from car alternators, microwave transformer coils, neodymium magnets, and a 2200 volt motor. They disassemble them on camera to prove there are no hidden batteries. They run them outdoors, powering grinders, water pumps, drills, heaters for hours. So it says a YouTube channel with over 680,000 subscribers has been building free energy generators on camera for years. The Liberty Engine Project. Why does a 12 volt alternator produce 220 volts? So I don't know how, it's a minute and a half or whatever, but if you can get something spinning with the magnets, right? Do magnets wear out? Like if you use it in that case, like say if I have, a magnet here and I have a piece of metal that say like this, and it's every time it comes near, it's going to spin it around and hits it again.
I know that magnets lose their charge over time. You just got to kind of recharge them, like rub them on another surface. So maybe they add a little steel wool on one side or something, and that'll keep it and ionized.
Hard to manufacture alloy. I mean, this should not be something
I don't think it's ionized, but electrically charged is the better term.
The real quantum vacuum ground state verified via Casimir effect Lamb shift, but no device has extracted usable net energy from under independent scientific scrutiny or peer review. Such claims equate to perpetual motion and contradict thermodynamics. YouTube demos like the Liberty Engine lack rigorous, replicable validation by physicists. Claims need extraordinary evidence beyond disassembly videos. But if you can get something to move, and I mean, that's basically all you need, right? You need to get something to move without putting energy into it. Then all you need to do is add some copper contacts to it so it can charge itself up as it goes.
I don't know. They've been doing windmills on farms for forever, so they produced electricity. So, I don't know. I mean, these motors are possible. I just don't get into the minutia of of the terminology too much because it can get confusing. Perpetual motion, yeah, it sounds like, he pushed a magnet and then it just continually moves. But 0 point energy is producing energy from vacuum, I believe. Or
Casey
I don't know what they're
Bowser.
doing. If they're pulling apart an electron, I don't know what's going. I got to look into that because it's interesting how they're creating that.
Interesting. What's his name here? Where was it? It just spun. Casey Bowser says, I saw a mechanical flywheel free energy machine using a flywheel and 2 small springs. Tom JM says, yes, magnets can wear out. Are we having a godly discussion, debate in the chat here? I see words. Yes, words can be spells, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, spelling. All right? So check that one out. All right. Infusion energy. All right. Okay, on to the next one, sir. I don't have much, or actually, unless you have something that.
Oh, you got that Rothschilds video? Did you?
No.
No.
I mean, I'm just talking about this one specific topic. I gotta believe it. I got probably 4 more hours worth of stuff we could go through, but on the Charlie Kirk thing, unless besides what I'm about to click up, unless you added anything, I don't have much on that. But this is what I want people to understand. And we were talking about Lisa's favorite word, right? The binfluencers, right? And I would claim that Benny here
We're
is
outside
a
of the 4th
binfluencer.
District Courthouse here in Utah. The Charlie Kirk preliminary murder trial just wrapped. We were there and witnessed everything. And
Liar.
you have to hear this because it was devastating what we watched. And the judge ruled that you can't see the high definition quality video 4K of Tyler Robinson committing the murder of Charlie Kirk. But we saw it.
Oh,
they
you did?
played it on giant screens inside of the courthouse.
Really?
You can see clearly Tyler Robinson's face. You can see crystal clear the license plate number on his vehicle, his movements on the rooftop. You can time it up to when Charlie Kirk was murdered. And what you also couldn't see was what happened inside of the courthouse. Erica Kirk was sobbing in the arms of her mother-in-law, Charlie's mother, Mrs. Kirk. Feet away is Tyler Robinson, pale, sallow, bony, emaciated, staring at the.
So this guy is just flat out lying through his teeth, Mac. Like flat out lying. He's lying.
Are they allowed to do that? I don't believe them. So it's really something. One side, there's like these 2 parties. One's trying to say it's proof undoubtedly, and then the other one, there's so and so did it, or the boyfriend did it or something. So and that I'm talking about the binfluencers, the people that are trying to do social media and get clicks. And I don't know. I don't know if they can show. Wasn't the whole thing televised where you got to see all the evidence, or they're not showing that to the public? Is that true?
It's a bullshit story.
Okay. I don't know.
I think it's a bullshit story. I'll let you and the viewers let me know what you think. So this person, it's pretty self-explanatory when I read it here. Miss Jane Doe, UK now, says, in light of the truth, I deleted the post where I asked Brandy Cicilline, this woman here, to clarify if she was in the courtroom on 7/10 based on a misleading audio clip from a space. The clip left out the full context. Brandy not only replied, but also showed her wristband from the day and in the same space had discussed being in court. She was in the courtroom on day 5 of the preliminary hearings on 7/10. So this woman was Brandy Cicilline. Whoops. Here we go. So she basically said ahead of time that she would be there. And she said she's standing by what she says. I would love to speak with her directly. Listen to this.
A very strange reaction to your reporting because you came out on Friday, you and I were texting.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if I know most of the viewers here know Mac, but I don't know if you know my utter disdain for this piece of shit. Pardon my French, but utter disdain for this piece of shit. that, for whatever reason, decided he wanted to go off on his own little tangents for about 2 years and doing all these stupid Periscope videos about why Q is fake and it's not real and you shouldn't believe any of it. And I'm like, why is this guy doing all this stuff? So just for the record there.
You posted online and you gave an interview to Charlie's old colleagues at Turning Point, Andrew and Blake. And immediately we had like backlash. It was strange, Jack, like backlash to your reporting. There's a podcaster named Brandy Siciliani who posted the following on X. I was in the courtroom today. There is no high quality zoomed in footage showing anyone taking a shot. The video shown is the same distance as the footage of, quote, Tyler, his name is in quotes, jumping off the roof shown in this screenshot. I have no idea why people are claiming otherwise. They know the video isn't going to be released publicly, so they're misrepresenting what was actually shown in court. And then she takes aim at Benny, who is also there, Benny Johnson. Benny is making it seem like there's a 4K quality video of Tyler pulling the trigger, and we all know that is absolutely not true. So what did you make of her and some others taking issue with your testimonial?
Well, what's amazing is the fact that we have this video at all, and if people are going to split hairs over whether or not we can actually see a finger, in the trigger well and pulling the trigger. I mean, you've completely lost the plot at this point. If that's the level you're going to, the idea that we have this video, that it exists, that is one of the most.
It exists. You see the little flutter of the eyes?
Idea that we have this video, that it exists, that is one of the most stunning moments, one of the most impactful moments in modern history. The idea that we have this video, that it exists, that is one of.
You see that though? The eyes
He's
fluttering?
terrible. Yeah. He also was, wasn't he outside peacefully protesting, holding up a sign, rape Melania? Don't we have proof of that?
Yes, we do have a sign, him holding a sign saying, or he made the sign and holding a sign saying, rape Melania Trump. So yes, this piece of crap. Yeah, don't like him at all. So, but again, he's for the record.
He's an agent. He's an intel agent. So I don't know for who, but he is.
He was our U.S. Navy, but my guess is some foreign influence of the small hat nature would be my guess. And again, so this woman claimed that she was there and did not see a damn thing that they saw. Right?
Yeah, I think they got caught embellishing to get clicks. That's exactly what's going on. So they're lying.
Andrew Colvett, of course. Today, I expect the liars to come out swinging harder and more viciously than ever. They'll name-call Mark Gier. They'll blame everyone but themselves for the absolute thrashing their credibility took last week. They claim it's a coordinated campaign. I mean, dude, they need to do something about this. I mean, he needs to bring
Smith-Month Act. We need that.
Well, again,
is it repeal? Do we need to repeal the Smith-Month Act? Is that what it has to happen?
Yeah, but can they still do the Q stuff if they repeal it?
What do you mean? Yeah, they can.
Q is a form of propaganda as well. I mean, you know what I mean? It's basically saying you can use propaganda and stories on your people. So that's why
we're talking about entities with publishing licenses. They have to follow the law, and they're not being held to the law. These are publishers. I've been saying this for years. Yeah. So Twitter, when they kicked us all off, was acting as a publisher, but they're not publishers. So there's this huge discrepancy in the law. I am waiting for this to be addressed because it's a huge issue. And I know Trump's been circling the wagon around it. Just when is he going to strike kind of deal. But it's a, Twitter was like suppressing our free speech because they thought it was news. But they're acting as a publisher, not as a social media company, and allow people to have freedom of speech. So,
and Bamlo's asking, can mainstream media now survive if you repeal the Smith-Month Act? That's a good point.
Oh, that's when We Are the News takes over,
I mean, they abused it, right? And so what it was meant for is like if me or Mac put something horrible on Twitter and they get sued, like, hey, well, we got the Section 230 because, we're not doing it. But then when they decided what people could post on there and what did not, then they became a publisher, because what they were supposed to do is allow anybody to post whatever other than, outright direct threats and comments like that, right? They should delete. But when they started picking and choosing between who should be able to post online and not, they made themselves a publisher, which is outside the scope of that 230.
And then they were using the check marks, right? Remember, for like people who are to be trusted, I guess. And that fell on. So if you disagreed with the people at check marks, who are obviously the real propagandists, then you'd be censored on Twitter or X or whatever the heck it was called at the time. And you possibly get kicked off, you get suspended, you get throttled, as they say, ghost banned, whatever. But essentially it was an infringement on our First Amendment rights by a company who was socially checking us in Germany, come to find out.
Right. And dude, they were friggin' following us around like little stalkers. All these different companies too. In addition to those, you had SPLC, Media Matters, SPLC being the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is still in a little bit of hot water lately. So I'm loving that. Absolutely loving that. Okay. We're going to do a little Marco here. Then we got a couple stories on Marco.
Here. These designations and our focus is based off of groups who are engaged in violent terrorist activity, such as kidnapping, targeting U.S. law enforcement, targeting the civilian population. And when we started talking about this ministerial, we actually had so many countries raising this as a problem that they started proactively reaching out to us to be involved in this ministerial. That Washington Post article you just showed on the screen, for example, suggested that other countries don't want to work with us on this. Nothing could be further from the truth. This has been a gap in our counterterrorism strategy for decades, and this administration is determined to address that gap and protect the American people.
Ooh, so Antifa, war on Antifa goes global, Mac. Says Secretary of State Marco Rubio in the coming days will converge on a swath of allies to decimate Antifa and communist-linked terrorists across the world. Any rioter or agitator waving Antifa flags should be arrested on the spot because they're supporting terrorists.
Excellent.
Excelente. Now,
About time. I mean, all the symbolism in there, and the flags. Remember, it's just ridiculous. All communist.
Well, he wrote an op-ed.
Marxist, communism. Did he really?
I don't know if you guys know, but I'm not paying for Wall Street Journal. Marco Rubio, why we're dismantling the International Criminal Court. America never agreed to a world tribunal that can override our own courts and the Constitution. Most of us would struggle to imagine a world in which U.S. soldiers, police officers, border patrol agents, and elected leaders could be dragged before an international court, tried by judges from random countries across the globe, found guilty under international laws we neither consent nor control, and then be imprisoned thousands of miles from America.
I've got an article in there that's on the same thing. Might add a little bit more context.
You mean
this from Al Jazeera?
Yeah, I got that. It's coming up next.
Years, Americans have governed ourselves as a free and sovereign people. We choose our own leaders, determine our own laws, and when we're accused of a crime, we stand for judgment before a jury of our own peers. This is the essential and indispensable feature of our form of government. It is the foundation of our shared way of life. But today, powerful people in faraway places want to take that away from you. They believe that they should be in charge of your laws, of your country, your life, and they don't care whether or not you agree. Halfway across the world, there's an institution that calls itself the International Criminal Court. Maybe you've heard of it. You haven't. But chances are you don't know the names of its judges, prosecutors, or its president. And you shouldn't have to. But as we speak, the ICC and its friends are waging a war against our country, not with bullets or missiles, statutes, compacts, and the force of so-called international law. When the ICC was born 24 years ago, they told us that it was merely a narrow backstop, a global court that would step in to prosecute only the gravest offenses, things like genocide and war crimes, and only when a nation's courts were unable to prosecute them on their own. Truth is, something far more radical and extreme. It was a global tribunal staffed by unelected globalist bureaucrats who claim their power is almost unlimited. The danger of this global court has only continued to grow. Today, it threatens every aspect of our political and legal system. Border Patrol agents removing violent criminals from our country, American Marines risking their lives to defend our homeland, prosecutors working to dismantle terrorist plots to attack and kill Americans. If we stand idle, all of them would be at the mercy of foreign judges thousands of miles away, facing the constant risk of prosecution and even imprisonment for the so-called crime of defending their own country. The American people never agreed to any of this. Never will. Read the words of our Declaration of Independence. We fought a revolution against a foreign power, transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses. Independence is our birthright. We will never let foreign bureaucrats take that away from us. This administration will not sit by as the ICC and its allies seek to threaten our people. If they believe they can deprive us of our sovereignty, we will teach them the full meaning of American resolve.
Boom. Dude, I'm wondering who they're talking about here. Like, who are all these people that are being pulled before the international courts? Like, I've not seen like a big
You mean in the past? I think they're also thinking about the future. They're saying like our military troops could be called in. It's I got to look into this, but I knew something was coming with the international court system, but I didn't know what it was going to be. But he basically hinted at the fact they're globalists, they're communists that are now the heads of the International Criminal Court. They think they're above any law. And I'm glad to see Marco Rubio doing this. This is great.
Yeah.
It's headquartered in the Netherlands, #1 human trafficking area in the world.
Hague?
Yeah.
U.S. State Department. I'm eating a little bit of naan. I haven't eaten anything since midnight yesterday. So probably should have done this before the show, huh?
So it's genocide and war crimes. So this is like the new
Really?
Nuremberg, I
That's
guess.
awesome. Yeah,
So we knew that the Rothschilds started that criminal court. I believe it was the Rothschilds or the Rockefellers, and so not this court, but the one in like World War II. And so he's basically saying it just continued with an international criminal court system. So
you look like a writer or like a rock singer more than anything. Jeez.
Yeah.
Let's see. Administration has escalated its pressure campaign against the International Court, with the U.S. State Department vowing a whole-of-government response to systematically, disable the tribunal's ability to operate. State Department campaign was announced in a release. So I'm just wondering, like, while I agree with it, I'm just wondering, like, have there been a bunch of people pulled in here that they're addressing now?
Read that paragraph. It comes as the Trump
has already imposed sanctions on ICC officials and rights groups that have provided evidence to the court amid wider threats of to penalize any entities that aid in investigations into the U.S. or its allies, particularly Israel. Rubio upped the rhetorical temperature, accusing the court of waging a war against our country, not with bullets or missiles, but with statutes, compacts, and the force of so-called international law. I love it. Today it threatens every aspect of our political and legal system, he said. If they believe they can deprive us of our sovereignty, we will teach them the full meaning of American resolve. Heck yes. I like it. No, we're blocking you, Al Jazeera. I'm sorry, Aaron. Actually, we're getting you right off the page. Little Marco, dude. How many jobs this guy got now? Like 14? He's like Mean.
You know what? Trump used him to kind of secure the executive branch. So it's interesting when I went back recently and looked at like who all inclusive in the executive branch. You're like, okay, I get it now. This is the team, you know. And Marco, he gave him multiple, I guess, because of his experience in the past. He's a very smart guy, from what I understand, and he understands international politics very well.
Even I think he's Cuban, isn't it? Is he Cubano?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
From what I understand, he wants to free Cuba big time.
That's going to be an important thing coming, and I think that's coming pretty soon.
A lot of Cubans that have, history to back to, I think it was Jimmy Carter administration. A lot of them were considered political prisoners or criminals by the communist regime. So I don't know Marco's background, but he's pretty well versed in government for some reason.
Maybe he was, told to study up.
He was inspired, maybe, at a young age.
One of my buddies is actually sending this over right now for me. Something you mentioned a couple minutes ago. And if you're listening, buddy, yes, I did get that. And here we go. Ding. Oh, wow. How did that not come up? Oh, okay. Hold on. I messed up the link. It's always operator error when it comes to Space Shot. Here you go, buddy. You mentioned it earlier, and what do they say? Ask and thou shalt receive. And I want to see folks in the chat comments about this too. What do you make of this? Are you trying to visit Mitch, or is this the one before, or is this the one after? Are you trying to visit Mitch, or is there one that you said you were going to visit Mitch?
That was it, I think.
Are you trying to visit Mitch? Here's a hint. Yeah, police scanner. Oh, he's talking about the police scanner and saying he's in cardiac arrest. But then again, that takes into the assumption, was he even in America? And I can't tell you guys and gals out there yes or no. I can't tell you yes or no because I don't know. You know what I mean? But I would lean towards the math doesn't math, right? In that respect, that he would actually get back to DC. Let's see. So, dude, I got a few different ones.
Do you have
for
the
funnies.
clip of Marco's reaction when Trump was talking about Iran? Do you have that?
Unless it's in this one. No, this is Strait of Hormuz. No, I don't think so.
All right, hold on a second.
Marco's response. Let me do a funny while you're there. I only got 2 funnies. But this is just something we don't have anything else on. A Usher, and I have to mute it. An Usher concert. It was just. So Usher's doing his concert, and he's like coming down, trying to be all sexy and whatnot. He's like, starts laughing. He's like, "Is that
Dave Chappelle?"
He's like, "Is that Dave Chappelle?" And then look at. Freaking Dave Chappelle.
When he says, "Is that Dave Chappelle?" You can't hear him. He goes, "In the stripper section?"
I just don't want to get banged on a copyright. Let me see if he says it. Here we go. Okay, because I always mute everyone. Here we go. In the stripper section? He's just so funny, dude. I don't know. This dude makes me laugh my ass off. Dave Chappelle, he's just so funny.
His face. I hope he does another Dave Chappelle show. But
was he replaced, dude? He was so scrawny his whole life. Now he's jacked.
That's what has been alluded to by some of his old friends, and they've done it publicly. I forget the one. Oh, God, give me a second. I have to remember who it was. Someone has publicly stated, like, I don't think that's the real Dave Chappelle. No.
Oh, God. Kristen Cavallari talking about celebrities. Dude, listen to this. Oh, come on. You know, I'm just going to do the whole thing so I don't have to anymore. Here we go.
Is a clone. I wholeheartedly believe what I'm about to say. I think there are clones, and I'm going to tell you why. Remember, he was really talking a lot. The cabal didn't like that, you know? The Illuminati, the cabal, they did not like how much he was saying. He was calling a lot of people out, and he said, if I go away and I come back and I look different, that is not me.
If I ever went anywhere, we'd know why.
What the fuck happened? He was gone.
He did that because he wanted to gain weight. I would do that too. I'm going to do that next summer.
Look at him. Compare old photos of him. It's not the same fucking person. It's not. Don't cancel me, Hollywood.
How do you think that these people would hide that, Kristen? If somebody tried to clone you, I would scream it from the top of the mountains like that's not Kristen.
You literally will get killed.
Oh my goodness gracious.
I believe this with every ounce in my...
That dude couldn't be any more on the zesty side of things, for sure. But dude, I'm convinced that they've done this for a long time. I know you've seen it too, and I'm sure most of the people in the chat have seen it. You ever see the video with Cousin Eddie there from Vacation Movies, Randy Quaid, where he had a press conference where he says essentially there's a group of star whackers out there that are killing celebrities. And he said, I believe one of these celebrity friends was, oh God, who was the young kid that played Batman? Heath Ledger. He goes, I believe they killed Heath Ledger as well. So if you think about it, it's like, well, why would you clone somebody? It was like, well, some people want to stay younger or whatever, but maybe somebody want to replace somebody with another person that looks close to, and maybe you don't even get a clone. Maybe you just get somebody that looks so close to that person, do a little plastic surgery, copy the tattoos. I'm convinced they did it with that rapper like 10 years ago.
Better way for the CIA to experiment on techniques to do things like spy, disguises and other things. Technology to trick the people watching TV, like AI or CGI, green screens, all that stuff. So, we know that cloning's been around for a long time. Bill Clinton had to make a public statement to ban it in the United States, and we know it still goes on today. There's been many of people that have whistleblown about it. So,
yeah, dude, it's weird. If it's the
and it has to do with the contracts these people sign, apparently, or that they are possibly able to do this, clone the person because of the contract.
Yeah. Oh, like you were talking about Prince being the symbol.
Yeah.
What was that movie? And so the reason I say about Dave Chappelle is because, excuse me, it wasn't like, he was a skinny kid or whatever. He was scrawny into like his 30s. And then all of a sudden now he's like super like here you go, dude. When was the Chappelle show? Do you remember that one? Because I know this is clip.
I don't remember the years.
I think it was like early 2000, like 2000, like 08 and earlier. But so here's him back then. And again, he's an adult. It's not like, oh, well, I just got past, college or whatever. No, we're talking you're like 30-something years old. And he looked like that forever. No shoulders whatsoever, just scrawny. And then that's not even really a good one. I mean, how big this dude is.
It looked like he just went on steroids, started working out.
Yeah, I could buy that. I could buy that for sure. So this...
He may have just started eating again, He was like unhealthily skinny, so you never know.
So this we got a funny for. I didn't really have many different stories, but to set up the funny that you set us, Scatman, with the OpenAI lawsuit, dude, they were apparently poaching all of these. Right here, he takes scamming to a whole new level. So essentially, Scam Altman is super good at scamming. And so they essentially were poaching a bunch of, I think it's over 400 employees from Apple. And not only were they doing that, but they were telling people at an interview, like, hey, Mac, you're coming in for that interview on Friday. Go get Alex Jones' microphone and go grab his show notes. And then I'll interview you on Friday and we'll see how good you do. Right? Essentially, he's telling them to like steal stuff and then bring it in for, quote, show and tell, which what you're doing is clearly you're stealing proprietary, information. So this is, this is a huge situation, and dude, I don't know how are you going to put a dollar amount on that? Like that's what I would like to know. How are you going to put a dollar amount on how much can be recouped or whatever? So it's going to have to be some judge or whatever, obviously, that does it. Where the hell's Scatman? I thought I put it over here. Oh no, I didn't. Oh no, hold on a second.
Is it in a link?
I could. I don't think it was. I think it was in. I think it was just regular. Let me see here. Pardon myself, ladies and gentlemen. Spaceship messed up with the link. Here we go. I got it. And apparently there was a link. So here we go. Here we go. Bing. Okay. Sorry about that momental delay there, ladies and gentlemen. But I do have the link, and here we go. He's a scam man.
I'm a scam man. I'm a scam man.
Dude, that is a pretty damn good play on words. Scat.
And then at the bottom of the chat is Marco's reaction to Trump talking about Iran, and it's hilarious.
I'm a scat man. Oh, where'd you go? Come on, come back. Okay, here we go. Saved. Nope. Here we go.
Mr. President, Tyler Pager with the New York Times. Last month you said Iranian leaders were very rational people, nice people to deal with, strong people, smart people. Today you said they were scum, sick people, and being led by sick people. What changed, and do you think they're...
I got to know them. I've said that about them. Now, when you say rational, I think they're much more rational than level 1, level 2. Level 1 is gone, level 2 is gone.
Level 1 is gone, level 2. I mean, dude, apparently, by all accounts, their leadership is decimated. And I don't know if they have any of their original leadership, because, a few guys go down and they plop up new people into those positions. Those people get killed. I mentioned this the other day. I'll actually pull it up because it's I won't play the sound on it. But the other day they were reporting over there that we essentially had hit them earlier in the day. And I think it was I don't even know what day it was. All the days are mixing with me now. So let me pop this up here. So essentially we had hit them earlier in that day, and then a couple hours later there was an assassination essentially at that wedding, that funeral. And so that guy's funeral was Ayatollah Khomeini, and then his children were all there, except for the one that everybody thinks is dead. And the guy Tusi TV essentially said, this is a indicator that he's dead, because essentially all of the other brothers were there, and they told him, oh, wink, wink, the guy that essentially is everybody thinks is dead shouldn't go. All of the other brothers or sons of the Khomeini could show up. That's fine. But later on in this one here, I'm going to pause it when we do. It talks about explosions and then attacks that were in the area on that day. So right here, and I think he adds one in the middle as we go here in the beginning, but he said right in here is in the deep heart of Iran. And so inside of here, should probably get it a little bit bigger for you. There was a few different assassinations up here, a couple of attacks, kabooms, and then one in here. But he said during this attack, 2 countries were not involved, and those 2 countries were the United States and Israel. So they were starting to clean up their own backyard, essentially, which is what we want for the rest of the world to start doing this, because we cannot be the policeman for the rest of the world out there. It's too expensive. And dude, can you imagine once all this fraud and the aid, which is of course mixed in with the fraud and the abuse and this, that, and the, like all that money that's no longer going to be going out to all these fraudulent organizations, like the effect that will have on prices of things and inflation in general. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be kind of like the Q post was telling us. What were they going to show us? A whole new world. I'm pretty sure. Didn't they say something like that? We are going to show you a new world. Those who are blind will soon see the light. A beautiful, brave new world lies ahead. We take this journey together, one step at a time. Where we go one, we go all. So, dude, and I really do think that mixed with some form of technology is going to make this whole place that we're living in, I think it's gonna go in a very good direction. I'll just leave it at that for now. But any thoughts on all the nonsense I just laid out there?
Well, yeah, the reactors and stuff, and having these new ways of producing energy is also decentralizing what I think was a corrupt energy grid. Remember when Texas got frozen over by that storm, and the electricity went out? We come to find out that Texas was selling off their energy to China.
Yeah.
So it was that you?
I left, but I wasn't in front of the mic.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I heard a noise. So I think this is also part of that process of, we loophole or get around what the old system is when we create new ways of doing things that are much more efficient and up to date. And the cabal can't do anything about it, the deep state. So they're being cornered out of the market they created because now they have accountability. And I'm glad to see it.
Yeah, and did you see? I didn't know this was possible. I think Hulk brought it to the show last Saturday, where they dropped the power outage from the electric company to the city by like 10% or 20% or something like that. I'm like, I didn't even know that was like doable. You could just basically prorate it or whatever. That's freaking wild.
Yeah,
remember
I think
78. Put your AC on 78.
All this stuff, like we're running out of water, running out of electric. I think that it's a human construct, and then that they've been siphoning away, or hiding, or owning up to, buying up like water. So there's plenty of water on the earth. There's more of that than the land. I know there's salt water to include in that, but I think a lot of this global warming, the Green New Deal, all that stuff, Green New Scam, was hindering our ability to access a lot of that stuff, and Trump is tearing it apart. It's great. Like there's certain areas they couldn't fish, certain places they couldn't mine. He today was an EO about monuments, which monuments having to do with land. I think there was a piece of land that was like 3 million acres, and now he's making it into like 2 parcels of monuments that are like close to 12,000 acres apiece. So he's taken that federal land and shrunk it, which is considered to be a monument. So there's a lot of things that he's fixing that it's hard to keep up with almost.
Oh, dude, there's so much that he's doing.
I mean, Pulte's just fired a bunch of people. Our government, the size of our federal employees has shrunk till like I can't remember the date, but it's decades it hasn't been this small.
Oh yeah, and I'm thanking Postmiz dropped $1 holler on Rumble and says, look up sister's upbringing in Lindsay. He adopted her in college. She was 13. Both parents died. He was brother and father per Wikipedia. Yeah, I did touch on that a little while ago, and I did cover it yesterday.
The co-founder?
No, the fact that he brought up his sister. He raised his sister. I touched on it a little bit, I think, while you were looking something up. But essentially, yes, his parents, and I showed it, and here's the link. His parent. Look how much older his parents were, dude. Like, dude, he's probably like 37. And she's like 36, he's 37, and Lindsay's like 14 here. But I say that jokingly, of course, because it's just wild to me how much older people looked a long time ago, even like when they were 40 years old or whatever. So, but yeah, he did adopt his sister after the 2 parents died. The mother died, and then I think the husband died a year later or something like that. But thank you for that post, Ms. I do appreciate that. And Rakunter's report. Thank you for that raid earlier. I got so much stuff in here, dude. I just don't want to miss some of it here. I got we got that. We got this. I want to touch on this while we're here still. So we're playing the game where we're the blockers now. Remember in the beginning, they were blocking the strait, charging a toll. President Trump says 10:16 this morning, Hormuz Strait is open and will remain open with or without Iran. We are instating the Iranian blockade. So named because it is only stopping Iran ships or customers from entering or leaving. All other countries will have fair and open use of the strait. The USA will be, from this point forward, known as the guardian of the Hormuz Strait. But as such, and as a matter of fairness, will be reimbursed at the rate of 20% on all cargo shipped for any and all costs necessary to do the job of providing safety and security to this very volatile section of the world. The process and formation will begin immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. And I didn't find anything on the Delta there. Only thing that maybe could have held any validity for that post, 10:16. Well, yeah, I didn't go that route yet, and then I had to reread it. But as far as this one goes, I'm definitely going to look up Guardians of the. We know where that's going to go. Talking about bridges and how people make, senators and congressmen make money off of kickbacks. Cory Booker, 1.8 million. Chuck Schumer, Chris Christie, gift that keeps on giving. Blah 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 blah. I thought this one might be Hussein timeline. Remember, Obama was following around President Trump to all the different countries when he'd visit, essentially telling him, "Hey, don't listen to this guy. We're going to get him out of here soon." So I'm wondering if that speech on Thursday, this might become relevant then. So, but it might be a stretch.
This could be preparation for cheating on the elections, and was it international entities, or was he setting up the network? He went to London a bunch. Q was showing us. Remember all the London pictures?
Oh yeah.
So the intelligence agencies, I don't know what you would call it, the deep state, because it seems like they colluded, like MI6, CIA, people in Five Eyes of other whatever intel agencies, those, and then that became into 14 Eyes. It's almost like a global intelligence agency they were creating, with little to no oversight, because we know about the FISA stuff that happened to President Trump and many others.
This has never come out publicly yet that I'm aware of. Maybe you guys can correct me if wrong, but the drops told us that Cruz was also the target of a separate illegal spy campaign. So I'm wondering,
could he be working for a foreign entity?
Well, either, because remember they were trying to spy on everybody under Trump. So I'm wondering, will this information, Cruz being the target of a separate illegal spy campaign, will this be coming out on POTUS's speech coming up on Thursday? It's possible. I'm not saying it's happening, but hey, because remember what they're going to be talking about. They're going to be talking about new information about the 2020 election.
Do you
remember
have
all that
article?
Stuff was somewhat involved with that, no?
Do you have the article or the announcement by Patel on how many foreign spies they just kicked out of the country?
Ooh, Cash Patel. No, I don't think so. Let me pull it up. Cash.
I think he posted it today.
Ding ding. The opening of the application fairly. That's Tribes. It's an honor over the weekend.
Yesterday?
Garland man extradited from Qatar after fleeing $1 billion fraud charges. Abdul Anwar. Wow, dude. That's crazy, bro.
It's an article. Sorry, it was just the news. Here you go.
Just the news.
But that's probably John Sullivan and company, even though he's away reading classified documents for release soon.
Yes, and again, the timing of that is again very interesting, right? Like,
yeah,
as everything's coming into the fold now, President's making a speech on Thursday. More previously classified information. Patel claims the FBI arrested 113 active spies from foreign countries. Oh shit, Mac. Is that is 11? Did we just verify 11.3 or did we just confirm 11.3?
I don't know. We'll find out, but it's interesting, isn't it?
Additionally, the promotional video claims the FBI made 4,800 arrests of drug cartel members and stopped 850 plotters. The agency also claimed to have produced a 77% increase in cyber indictments. It says the video also claims that counterintelligence arrests increased 53%, though it didn't say what time period increase happened. Quote, it means our tech stays home, our defense systems stay locked down, the video's narrator states. The video also claims the FBI forced the removal of 62 Chinese spies in 2026, which shattered Beijing's deep cover operations. Additionally, the video claims the FBI made 4,800 arrests of drug cartel members, stopped 850 plotters. Agency also claims to have produced a 77% increase in cyber indictments. Quote, that means the hospitals your family relies on, the banks holding your savings, and the local power grids keeping your lights on are completely locked down and defended, the narrator said. Dude, that's awesome. And that's huge. 113 active spies from foreign countries gone?
Yeah.
Wow. That's it, dude. It makes you wonder how many were friggin' there, right? And then, of course, you know, I
still are.
Got to put the 11.3 in. 10 posts. It's probably very Stretch Armstrong-y, but, you know, of course, it is 113, 11.3. Once 11.3 verifies first marker.
Yeah, it's on midterms, and, you know, midterms are safe, so I'm thinking there's an operation that they're setting up, given all the little things they're putting in place. You read one of them where, the post office has got one where they won't give them mail-in ballots unless they got voter rolls, and we're going to withhold your funds. CIS is on, they're working with Space Force now since 2020. Kash Patel is investigating election fraud. We got Fulton County and possibly what's going to happen on Thursday. So I don't know. It looks interesting. Did you space mute?
Yep, I'm over here looking over here. I'm like, yeah. And then we got, I said, I'm waiting for this one over my fellow Americans. But then we also have another one that says, let me see. We have another one here. Oh, my boy's calling me here. My son is calling. So I think that might be a little stretchy, buddy. But I'm very interested in all the stuff that's coming out lately because it seems to be ramping up in a major fashion. Loving it. Absolutely loving it. Let me see. Anything else you want me to look at on this one here, brother?
No. We see the Antifa, that they're the symbology there, the correlation to the Communist Party.
Okay, sorry about that. I was a little weird for a second, but my baby boy called me, and Daddy loves his boy, so I'm all soppy like that. But yeah, dude, that's huge. Let's see. This is weird, dude. So we went from the Guardians of the Hormuz Strait to a little bit more information from the New York Post on...
there's a clip from the interview right before the show of Trump talking about the Strait.
Okay, yeah, I saw that down there. I'll pull that one after this one here, but check this out, dude. Ex-Iran President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad said to be under house arrest over reported Israeli contacts. Former Iranian president has been placed under house arrest following a failed Israeli plot to install him in place of the current theocratic regime, according to a stunning new report. There he is. New York Times, citing 4 Iranian officials, reported Monday that the 69-year-old is being held by the IRGC's intelligence wing after he left a safe house run by Israel's Mossad. Before last week, Ahmadinejad had not been seen in public since an Israeli airstrike hit his compound in the early hours of Operation Epic Fury, February 28th, after he was spirited away to the safe house, the Times reported, citing U.S. and Iranian officials. Now, Mac, I'm pretty sure in the drops, this guy was mentioned, and I think it's under the idea of take your country back. I'm just going off memory, but so let's see. What? Who was the leader of Iran that's in this post that where they were talking? Maybe it's misspelled? I know he's in this post. Ahmadinejad is in these posts.
You talking about? I don't know.
Mahmoud? Let me see. Mahmoud. Let's see. Pretty sure. I'm like 99% sure. That's why I wouldn't be bothering with it if not. Go with that. Let's go with Mahmoud. See if that pops up. Aha. Tougher nut to crack, Q team. I hope your negotiations with Mahmoud are going well. Resolved by 11/11. I'm telling you, there is another one here. Iran next, not tougher to crack. Forbidden City, POTUS never crossed the line. I won't put you guys through this anymore, but I'm pretty sure there's another one. Maybe they misspelled his name or something like that, but it was basically like take back your country. To the people of Iran. You ready to serve your country? 12 posts. No, your country needs you. And then again, so why I keep bringing this up is I know he was in the post, and maybe it was a different leader before him, but I don't think so. But I was going under the theory of, well, maybe this is the resistance on the inside beyond these immortal guard guys and gals that are out there. Maybe that was part of this plan because they 100% had mentioned Ahmadinejad in this. So can't find it right now, but that is interesting that he's under house arrest. And if that Q post has lined up, maybe I could have given you guys more insight to it, but alas, I cannot find it at this moment. So we move on. Let's see. Criminal courts, we got that.
It's in Q post 484.
See? Was it misspelled or what was it?
I think so. I just found it. I just typed in the first five letters. 484. 484.
Oh, 484. Oh, I put the 5 in. Aha! Hussein and Hillary and many more must be terrified. Now, again, guys, keep this in mind with what we just saw here. We got Ahmadinejad is on house arrest, and they're claiming that he was working with Israel, right? Which could be the good guys. Could be the good guys, right? We're not saying, because remember, they have their own deep state as well. But Hillary and Hussein or Obama and many more must be terrified. Ahmadinejad is talking. So remember, this is January 7th of 2018, right? And so find this very interesting that ex-Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad is under house arrest, but then back here in 2018, they're telling us Hillary and Obama must be terrified and that he's talking. Where did all that money go? You guys remember the cash, the $1.7, $1.8 billion in cash? How many planes? Where did the planes land? Why was the CIA and private contractor escorting them? Why was it cash? Why was it offshore cash? And I did do a quick AI on this one, Mac, and it says, oh, well, they were under heavy sanctions back then, so people, didn't want to get in trouble. And I'm like, who was sanctioning them? Oh, wait, us? So our government is going to go after our government for paying back an old, an outstanding debt that we owed them, plus interest? Like, come on. Why cash? So they can pay off their terrorists, and it's never documented. That's why cash.
Not traceable.
Not traceable, exactly. Why was Congress not notified? Where did the bank wires originate from? Wires transfer originate from? But they paid them in cash. Coincidence, all donations to the Clinton Foundation terminated post Hillary's defeat, where President Trump won. What did Australia and UK obtain in exchange for all that money? Where do the majority of Rothschilds reside? Why is Obama traveling the globe and visiting major financial institutions? $115 million. Who are the Muslim Brotherhood? Harvard University Muslim alumni is Huma. Who are the Muslim Brotherhood? Who is Imran Awan and his brother there?
Huma Abedin also is Muslim.
I was going to say, yeah. So who is Awan, and then who is Huma? Well, who is Huma Abedin. What is Huma is the Harvard alumni for the Muzzies. Who is VJ, Valerie Jarrett, who created ISIS, who controlled ISIS? What was the purpose of ISIS? Who was MS-13? Why was known MS-13 members released after capture? Who controls MS-13? Who funds MS-13? Hard to swallow, watch the news, stages. And again, back in the Newsmac last week was Seth Rich. And why were I bringing up MS-13? Oh, because that's what the drops told us, that
and this
he was
seems to originate from Operation Cyclone that we played in the beginning of the show. Where how they facilitate all this offshore money to everybody and pay for all kinds of stuff.
MS-13, 2 of them. 187's a murder. MS-13, 2, murder. Geolocation, MS-13, 2, murder. Date, MS-13, 2, case summary notes. Now, I'm pretty sure this part is about what they're talking about as far as them getting killed. WikiLeaks published versus Seth Rich. Geolocation, that they knew probably where he was, but then they were sent to kill two people, or people were sent to kill them after they killed Seth Rich, essentially, is what we're told right here.
Seth's geolocation matched up to the MS-13 guys that were murdered after they killed Seth Rich.
Whoops. Thinky little thing called facts there. But yeah, Seth Rich, murder. MS-13, 2, murder. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, FBI. I mean, dude, I've heard so many different weird things over the last many years about like Comey and Rosenstein and now Mueller. You've seen all the emails talking about Mueller and his hitmen?
Yeah, Tim Burchett, even, I guess he reposted something about Seth Rich, and I think James Wood posted something this past week about Seth Rich.
I covered this like last Tuesday. These are quotes, dude, from emails. The Clintons hired Mueller to murder Seth Rich. Robert Mueller arranged, planned, or ordered the hit on Seth Rich. Mueller had access to hitmen through mafia friends or people who, quote, owe him. Rabid Trump hater, psychopath, crooked, and involved in covering up or enabling the murder. And then, I don't know, dude, was that a farce, you think?
Weren't we told David Wasserman or Debbie Wasserman Schultz was part of the hit that they hired for the DNC server?
Wouldn't doubt it. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what the Q posts were saying something different. The Mueller thing, that's new to me. I'd have to read it.
Yeah, it says she directed it. It looks like what they're saying is CrowdStrike over the DNC. Seth Rich was murdered. 2 MS-13 who were then themselves murdered. And then the next line says DWS_DIR. I mean, I can only read that as Debbie Wasserman Schultz directed, right? Or direction. But yeah, so otherwise she directed it. And the FBI and DOJ assisted it in their insurance plan. Hussein or Obama, Hillary Clinton, Loretta Lynch, James Comey, Peter Strzok, and AM. Who is AM? Can't remember. It's going to be a stupid name that I should remember anyways. But anyway, okay, let me get Let me get, as we're getting to 10 o'clock here, make sure we get all of our things
Yeah,
done.
I looked up DWS just now for any acronym similarities, and Debbie Washman Schultz, other than driving while suspended, dealing with shit.
Dealing with shit. And of course, this is going to do this here. Come on. If you guys like to send me an email, spaceshot76 at protonmail. No, I want to log in without password. But, yes, we don't really need to do this. Here we go. Hold on. Don't mistake the messenger for the message on the question of Trump's intelligence. So, dude, this is an op-ed from Dr. Phil, of all people, bro. All right, here we go. I got my requested login link here.
He's been doing some interesting stuff. He did he went traveling into like the Arctic recently and did a documentary.
Dr. Phil did?
Yeah, I haven't watched it fully. I just saw like a preview for it. I'm pretty sure it was real. And he also has commented about aliens recently. So he's an interesting person. I don't know what's going on there.
This should stay. Here we go.
What is he? Is he a part of the Trump administration now?
Dr. Phil? I don't know. But it says, don't
carry on.
Don't mistake the messenger for the message on the question of Trump's intelligence. Dr. Philip C. McGraw, a particular ritual in American politics discourse that reveals more about the attacker than the attacked. Almost any argument can sound compelling when you're the one making it. Problems arise when others start asking hard questions, when critical thinkers want to see the pesky facts that supposedly back up your position. So it's basically goes into this long thing talking about Trump and his medical record and everything, dude. So I could read this and it could take, quite a bit of time, as you can see. But it's a pro. You know what? Actually, I think I can share this with you guys. This link should share out so you guys can read this. But essentially, he's essentially writing an op-ed saying that Trump is the friggin' man, essentially, is where you're going with this. Don't message it. It says, whatever one thinks of the man, the methods, policies, the values, or the results, the intellectual and adaptive demands of that achievement cannot be trivialized. The accomplishments are extraordinary. So what's Trump's IQ? No sitting president has ever submitted to formal IQ testing, not one. The demand, when directed specifically at Trump, is therefore not a neutral standard, it's a political weapon. That said, certain reasonable inferences are available to us, and since his critics insist on driving down intelligence highway, he says, let's buckle up and see where it takes us. Honest inquiry requires nothing less than following the evidence wherever it leads. Absent direct intellectual test data, inferential conclusions can be made from certain anchor events. So he earned, so basically this is a very pro-Trump op-ed and talking about how he's not an idiot and he doesn't go into the misspellings and stuff. But I would add that, the misspellings that he does are for us. And every time that they go out and say, oh, look, Trump just made this stupid da-da-da-da, what an idiot. It's like, yeah, you're going out and you're actually spreading what he wants spread. So hopefully that link might open up for folks. I don't know. Let me know.
It allows for inside jokes for people that don't take the time to understand what he's referencing. The comms are inside jokes essentially, and Trump's giving us a nod. That's great, but if you don't jump on board and start understanding, you have to find the truth for yourself. So you gotta figure it out. But once you get into it, it's pretty funny that it's actually real. And
Dr. Phil.
The proof is crazy.
Proof's in the pudding?
Yeah, there's lots of proof.
There's lots
and lots of proof.
Lots of proof, lots of pudding.
What we got on the agenda next?
Let's see. Let me see. No. Yes. Okay, hold on. 1 segundo. All right. I think we're yeah, one of these things was interesting. It says new lawsuit shows companies, including Fortune 500 companies, are using AI software that automatically filters out job applicants based on personal data. So there you go, guys. AI doing great for us already. AI takes your location info, social media posts, even web searches, and automatically rejects your job application. Quote, if you've been applying to any corporate jobs lately, the reason you got rejected or never even received a response is far crazier than you could have ever thought. A lawsuit just exposed Eightfold AI, the company Microsoft and many other giants use to score your application. And in that lawsuit, they're saying that Eightfold AI is not doing what you all thought, which was kind of processing your application and giving you a little score. They're actually taking all the data they can find about you, your location, history, web searches, social profiles, files, combining all of it and giving you a score 0 out of 5. If you have a low one, they're not even going to look at you. So yeah, now we have a social credit score for applications. It's a real class action lawsuit filed in 26 against Eightfold AI, major AI-powered hiring platform used by companies like Microsoft, PayPal, Morgan Stanley, Starbucks, Chevron, Bayer, and more. Eightfold's tools allegedly generate a match score or a likelihood of success score from 0 to 5. Low-scoring candidates often are automatically filtered out automatically before any human recruiter sees their application. Uses extensive data collection and aggregates far more than just your resume over letter. This includes social media profiles, location, stuff we've already read. Other third-party data tracking. The suit mentions vast data sheets with 1.5 billion plus data points. No transparency or recourse. Applicants allegedly aren't notified, given a chance to review or correct the data, or informed of adverse actions. Plaintiffs argue it violates the Fair Credit Reporting Act and California's Investigative Consumer Reporting Agencies Act. I mean, dude, how ridiculous is that?
They should win. That's
a little above and beyond.
Socialism media is what that is. They can't be doing that. So, like I said, we should be owning our own data, and these companies should pay us to get access to it. And that's it.
And
yeah, I mean, we are the owners of the data. So they're profiteering off of our data that they say is their ownership. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's because we signed their user agreement, remember?
Oh, yeah. And you can't use it unless you sign that.
So I think there's a huge problem with this as AI is developing, as we're seeing all these lawsuits come up. And the best solution, hopefully, President Trump and teams listening, is to own the data individually, and then we choose where the data goes. But
yeah, you would think, you would hope. So what I'm about to show you, I just looked it up, and apparently this is New Jersey. Hulkinator dropped this for us here. It says, car explodes with man inside this morning in Totowa. Passaic County Sheriff's Office on scene with the bomb squad. Explosion damages neighboring townhomes. No word on injuries. The man inside the car at this time. No word on injuries to the man inside the car.
Hello?
Hello?
Space Shot, you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Now I can. Yeah. Somehow
I think we're hearing this guy breathing. That's what you're hearing, right?
No, your voice went out. I don't know.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Stop talking. Yeah.
All right, Mac. I'm not a doctor. I'm pretty sure you're not a doctor, but they said
surviving.
They said this guy exploded with the car in it, within the car, but they said there's no word on the injuries to the man inside the car. Yeah, show me the guy in the car, because I'm guessing he's not there anymore, or he's there in pieces. But dude, look at that, dude. What the hell would do that?
High probability he didn't survive. That would.
You can see, it's his. Yeah. No, yeah, he definitely ain't make that one.
I'd have to see more pictures, but there isn't a whole lot of burning.
Yeah, right.
So
weird.
Is it a gas tank that exploded?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, right? Like, where's all the charcoal briquette, the darkness?
Like you would think there would be some charred from the explosion. I don't know. I have to see more pictures. So anyway, let's move on.
Well, there is a serious lack of burning on there in that car explosion. Very weird.
So it might be a gas explosion.
Yeah, something, but yeah, very, very weird. Okay, here. Apparently Trump, went off on this dude. He says, nobody knows Cuellar better than Trump. I studied his records, learned about his financing, listened to his two wonderful daughters beg me to help the mother and father that they loved. Their letters were heart-wrenching and beautiful, but their father had problems that nobody could solve but me. And the daughters very correctly and respectfully knew that. He and his wife were headed to jail for up to 20 years because he was, quote, stupid in what he did, but above all, because the Biden administration practiced political weaponization on Cuellar and his wife because they didn't agree with his policies on the southern border. He was a weak and incompetent version of me who wanted the border closed to criminals, drug dealers, people, mental institutions, and above all, murderers and heavy-handed criminals that were sitting in jail and mental institutions and should never have been given the right to be released in our country. Henry's views on the subject were not strong, but they were better than other Democrats. Biden and his crew of radical left thugs did not like those things about Cuellar, and they worked hard and expected to put him in jail for the rest of his life. Being an expert on political weaponization based on what the Biden losers had done to me, and without having ever met Henry Cuellar, and in particular because of the magnificence of the letter drawn by his daughters asking me to help mom and dad, I gave him and Mrs. Cuellar a full and unconditional pardon. In doing so, I never assumed he would be running for office again, and certainly not as a Democrat, who essentially destroyed his life, even with the pardon given. But he did. And now, despite doing him by far the greatest favor of his life, 20 years of freedom, I am fighting for his seat in Congress because his views are not nearly as good or strong as Judge Tano Tijerina, who is much more powerful on the border issue, cutting taxes, our military, and just about everything else than Henry Cuellar. So, dude, that's pretty wild. He pardoned this guy who was going to do 20 years in jail, and he decides, you know what, I'm going to run for government again as a Democrat. Like, what's wrong with these people, bro? Seriously.
Narcissist.
Oh, absolute narcissist. I mean, it kind of goes like I've talked about the mayor of my capital, Buddy Cianci, goes to jail, federal prison even, and somehow gets out and goes into office again. Don't know how that works, but I thought that would have been illegal years ago, to be honest with you. Let me see. All right, Mac, I think that's about a wrap, sir. I'm going to do some thank yous, but great show as usual, dude. There's so much stuff coming out, and it's getting weirder, right? And what they say too, the further we go down this road, the weirder it all becomes, or the more, what was the word they use? Unrealistic, I think is the word that they used. Unrealistic, maybe? Deeper we go, the more unrealistic it all becomes. Controlling the crops controls the people. I'll show you guys this. Controlling the crops controls the people. The sheep might be reaching, but throwing it out there. Coincidence. The Matrix movie grew people as a crop, used for energy, and controlled their mind. Sound familiar? Wonder where they derived that idea from. Now comes the conspiracy label. The deeper we go, the more unrealistic it all becomes. And this, I'm open for interpretations on this one, guys. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. Boom. Q. So, yeah.
Bob Lazar confirms that first line about the Matrix because he said we're referred to by the aliens as containers. So we'd be used for energy most likely and controlled, mind control stuff. So I think that's where we're heading, unfortunately.
Well,
yeah, but I think there's a very humanistic part of this that's, non-alien, which is there's a lot of people that have been controlling the truth and creating narratives and all kinds of stuff. So that's another aspect of, that's basically what intelligence agencies do. Surrounding this UAP, just look at it. They make you look in all directions, so you don't know where to look for information. And then the community itself, because you throw money into it, becomes all jaded even more. and they kind of sit in the back and laugh while they're creating the technology for decades. 70 years, I guess, would be the more or less
70.
time frame we've been given. There's there's some interesting stuff in history revolved around this, and we're getting little hints of confirmations that there's truth. We didn't heavy pulp. You want to touch on that real quick? I don't know if you've done it already, but that one post I had, it's towards the bottom. Essentially, the symbolism of a Stargate or portal, and then we talked about that. And at the end, it has enjoy the show. We did talk about the Q post and this folder, but also the orange folder represents the GATE program possibly. So if you're ever in Gifted and Talented, I don't remember some of the stuff they're talking about that some of the people have been rumored to. So maybe it was certain areas. Some people talk about drinking a pink drink. Never had that happen. So it's very interesting. If you follow the person Heavy Pulp on their page, their videos are very cryptic. They've got reptilians in there. They hint about Sedona, and Sedona's been rumored in the past to have a huge deep underground military base underneath it, and it's near Skinwalker Ranch. So you throw in some of these higher technology experimentations that occur maybe underground that have created certain environment disruptions. I don't know, that would account for what's going on like Skinwalker Ranch, or it's very interesting though that we're getting to find this stuff out.
Definitely.
The GATE program, it might be extension of like MK Ultra, which they've admitted to. They were looking for people that had certain like superhuman gifts, like more psychic or psionic. I don't know what the proper term is, but they would, there's people that have come out and start giving testimonies of being in the GATE program and have done some unnormal, strange things, and they didn't remember it until later in life. So adds more unrealism to what you're saying. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I do like that portal stuff. And good news is CERN's going to be shutting down for 3 or 4 years. Oops, bad news. They're making it even worse than it was. Or
they're improving it. Yeah, they're just improving it. People are saying they're shutting it down. To revise it.
That ain't no good. That's no good for us. If they even get down that far, if they even get down that road. But I'm thoroughly enjoying this ride that we're on, and I'm gonna keep my positive mindset, dude, because I honestly do think, I don't want to say like, the secret, whatever, you could just put your mind to something and it comes to fruition. But I really do believe if you have, like they say, power in prayer works, right? A bunch of people praying for the same thing maybe a lot. Well, not maybe, is absolutely much better than when one person, right? So I feel like if you have a ton of people out there just thinking like, this, our planet's just being run so crappily and it's just ripe with fraud all the time, and everybody has that mindset of just whatever, it's going to stay business as usual. But I believe if we have this mindset of we're cleaning up this world and doing this, and more people than not, I think that's what the battle is online. It's like a battle for your mind, and you have all these black pillars out there just trying to give you all this negative crap 24/7. But thankfully, we have our wonderful community of folks that do see it for what's really going on out there. So much more than just the BS lies of the mainstream media. So I'm thoroughly enjoying this timeline that we're blessed enough to be living through right now. So let me go to Zipild and thank some folks over there where I got Miss GGB working it, and it only took me like 6 months to figure out how to pronounce that name, and it was so simple once I did. But thank you for the cookies. The cookie says, some eyes emoji, a frog emoji, says, can you feel the shifting and shaking? And then some ooh face emojis and whatnot. So thank you for that, GG. And then Sean Joe, Space Squad member, comes in with the can. No message on there, but thank you. P-Quest with the cookie, same deal, no message, but thank you, P-Quest. Sean Joe came in with another cookie. No message on that one, but thank you, brother. Zeta Anon came in and dropped a ship on the house. Appreciate you there, Zeta Anon. Sean Joe came in with another cookie over the top of that one. Thank you, brother. Moon Baby 0437 with the cookie says, what up, Famalam? Famalama ding dong. Waving emoji, and then thanks for the news, guys. Love y'all. Appreciate that, Moon Baby. We love you guys right back, of course. And Sean Joe with another cookie. No message on that one. Thank you, my man. Q shook me all night long. Gifted a cookie. No message on there, but thank you, Q. Shook me. And then Moonbaby 0437 with a can says, here's some milk for your cookies. Okay, a can of milk. Okay. And I thought we were going to get some, Matt, if you're listening, I thought we were going to get some milk actually into the things there. Sean Joe came in with another cookie. Appreciate you, brother. And then Carrie Lake with a cookie after that one. No message on both of those, but thank you. Sean Joe with the last cookie of the evening. No message again, but thanks, brother. And then One Thunder with the can. And that is the last one. Thank you, One Thunder. No message on there. You guys know I will read all the messages when they are on there. But otherwise, no message, no can read. No can read. I have released said scratch, and I'm going to be rating you guys into Parallel 8 Media. He said he does. Generally doesn't have a show this evening, but could use a raid, so we're going to do that for you. Mr. Maxer, any parting words for the folks? Any quick stories that we forgot or omitted?
I say great show. There was one thing. Oh, the Robert Lowe interview with Joe Rogan was very interesting. He did the Lowe report about the British rape gangs and talks about the Sabian Society, which is very interesting. I think that's what he said Keir Starmer was a member of. It's several hours long, but he's very much on the same page of all of us, I think, on what's been going on and who's behind a lot of the chaos. But I read that was it D. Gianova, the lawyer, I guess he in his new role, he found 2016 election fraud with the Ukraine and the UK. So I don't know if that's going to be compiled into Trump's thing or not. I don't know how true it is. It was on a news site, but I can't confirm or deny.
Well, you know what? I can. I think I can. Hold on. I think I can.
I can. I think.
Well, dude, this is old though? Isn't this one's got to be an old video? Because look, look how young Hannity is there. And then,
I didn't get it off a video. I got it off a website.
No. Yeah, I know, but this is interesting because he's saying here it's Joe Geneva with what's his name back then, but he's essentially saying that guess what? Who was helping spying? It was Ukraine and UK. That's what they were saying back here. But we know, of course, that we had Christopher Steele and the GCHQ was part of London, UK. They were definitely helping with the whole thing. So yeah, for sure. So I think you're absolutely spot on. He may have went to go actually try to prove what they were talking about back then. So maybe he has it now, but that is awesome, dude.
I mean, and I forget what position he's in. He's in a very powerful position now. DJ
Geneva? He's running those. He's running those. That grand conspiracy case now.
There it is. Yeah. So
love it, bro. I love it. All
yeah.
right.
So there's a lot of shaking and moving. But yeah, great show. Lots of stuff we could still get into, but man, it is. I'm pretty tired. My mind's pretty exhausted. But great show, and can't wait till next week. We should play the Rothschilds clip next week, though. Very interesting.
Oh, definitely we will. And yeah, don't forget, guys and gals, Thursday. Not only Table of Titans starting at 9:00, but more importantly, President Trump's speech starting at 9 o'clock Thursday evening. And apparently coming out with new, previously unknown information. I'm wondering how much of it we already knew or surmised. So it's going to be interesting. So, yeah, great show back as usual, brother. Always enjoy these shows here on these Mondays. And for you wonderful mods out there, I actually, dude, I don't know. Check this out. You know, I'm copying a little bit here, but I'm gonna do this at least once a week now, guys. So she's gone. Bing. I'm gonna thank Cap 78 Pack, Chris Schaus, and these are all in order of alphabetical order. Telegram, Pilled, Rumble, YouTube. Cap 78 Pack, Chris Schaus, Diane DeVoe Williams, Debbie Roush, Gigi Be Working It, James Rohrback, Patriot Chick, P Dancer, Susie Q, Tasmaniac, and Tanette Booth. Thank you all very much for helping me mod over these last many moons. So I do appreciate your help. And Mac, great show as usual. And of course, at the end of the day, we do of course appreciate each and every last one of you wonderful world patriots out there for tuning in. And until that next one, thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Peace.
Hello, guys. Something special is happening in here. That's right. It's brackets and jackets. Bringing it back for brackets and jackets. Special Epstein Island edition. That's right, folks. Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, the man with the island, which is suspiciously close to Haiti. That's right. You see this man, Jeffrey Epstein, is funding lots of people. He's funding lots of people on the street to make sure his shit doesn't get out. That's right. They want the record sealed. And they're paying a lot of people. Epstein's paying a lot of people. Oh boy. For one, he's got a whole Mossad media matrix in America. And I would bet you anything that Alex Jones is one of them. Prove me wrong. That's right, Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the building with songs about Epstein. It's Breakfast Jackets Epstein edition. Guys, I had some epiphanies today. I had some real big epiphanies about some guys. A big network of guys and spies and lies and liars. All right, think about this for a minute, okay? The guy in Portland, the scientist that just got busted for producing CP, that guy is 1 degree of separation away from Epstein. Epstein, the investor that lives in West Palm Beach, Florida. I know a guy who lives in West Palm Beach, Florida as well. Investor as well. Also involved as well. And all is not well with these guys. The Florida boys, the Glow boys, the Scott Israels of the world. You see, Epstein is Hillary Clinton. And Epstein is Haiti. And Epstein is a big network of media assets. By the way, did you know that Steve Bannon was going to that guy for money? Also, Epstein is Epstein Oprah. Epstein is Chris Tucker. You remember him. Epstein is also Kevin Spacey. Epstein is also Prince Andrew. Epstein is also... Who else is Epstein? Who else is Epstein? Tell me. You guys know? Who else is Epstein? Is Epstein Big Pharma? Is Epstein Bryan Singer? Is Epstein Naomi Campbell? Yep, all of the above. All of the above. Who is Epstein? Epstein is the keystone of a whole motherfucking matrix. And once you pull it out, it all falls down. Dersh was there too. That's right, we're dropping red pills every day. And red pills in the best kind of way. This is brackets and jackets for the denizens of islands.
You could see it. 2024